Bell. Across the middle, then they've got Cody Drame, then Marvellous Nakamba. What a name!
That is a name.
That is a name, isn't it? I mean, it's fantastic. Marvellous Nakamba, on loan from Aston Villa, Zimbabwean. Apparently, he's brilliant. Luke Berry and Alfie Doughty. I mean, how can you have in what team could you possibly have a Doughty and a Marvellous? I mean, it's just fantastic.
How are you doing, Al?
Alan Campbell playing behind Elijah Adebayo and Carlton Morris. Now, Morris has got 16 goals this season. And there you are, they're fourth in the table. Goal scorer equals wins. Top half of the table, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, points.
Yeah. You look at Luton, and people will be thinking that, shall we say, they're overachieving, but they're there for a reason. And they'll be sniffing now, and they'll be thinking, we've got a chance here of getting into the playoffs here, you know, and then who knows what may happen. But credit to them, they're a hard-working team, which you'll see this afternoon. They'll make it very, very difficult for some. And look, teams now, the remaining teams who's got to play Sunderland, they know how Sunderland's going to play.
Check,
you know, so
Can you hear me okay?
High up the field. They're going to say to Sunderland, you've got to kick the ball long. And what they've got to do then is that they know that they're going to win the ball, but in the middle of the park, I think right in the heart, that's where we might have a problem, because we haven't got that out-and-out holding midfield player who can break things up or win balls.
Interesting, because Joffrey Gelhardt is coming back onto the halfway line. He's working to win the ball there, but he's also having to work as a number 9. He's sort of caught between two stools in a way. Today he'll come up against Cody Drame, who's actually a teammate of his at Leeds. Drame's on loan from
Haka Andrew, oh my God, we go again. Another embarrassment coming up. What's your prediction, win, lose or draw?
That's where they are. But I know Marco has talked about it, Marco Gabby.
Well, surely God would you win at the stadium at light, I mean,
convinced by Gelhardt.
I'm going to go for 3-0 Sunderland.
He works hard, but then that's where it stops. I think he's
just simply because of the fact we can't keep losing at home. I mean,
he does work.
You know, they're not exactly Barcelona, Luton Town, are they? I mean, Sheffield United, let's say, just bloody beat us by referees. It just depends whether the referees, whether we're playing against 12 men or not.
He wouldn't say that he's an out-and-out striker.
That's what it boils down to.
Maybe he might be what we call maybe a 10.
I just hope the referees are basically a twat, to be quite honest with you.
But we're asking, you know,
I'm getting quite sick of it every single match for Sunderland.
Lead the line.
And especially
at
home,
ball, get it up there, retain the ball, battle
just
with
seem to be
big centre halves, which he
just
knows he's
constantly
not
getting done
win.
on at home all the time.
You know, so you know he's doing as best as he can. You know, and again, you know, you look at Sunderland. I think we've had a fantastic season, and
we have had a brilliant season,
where we've
without
come
a shadow of a
and,
doubt.
You know, the remaining games, I don't think that we're going to get in the playoffs. But I think if we finish in the top half, I think it's been a fantastic season.
It's been a brilliant season, I think, bearing in mind everything.
We didn't really want the playoffs, though, do we? Let's be realistically, I mean, we're ready for it.
And that's where we, and that's where we don't want to get carried away. You know, okay, we might get 1 or 2 results which go against us. We're not going to win. But overall, we've got to be pleased the way Sunderland have gone about games, the way we've won games, the way we want to play. A little bit more luck on our side. You know, you talk about the injuries which we've got at the present moment.
Neil Thompson, morning DJ from Orlando. It's still
totally different. So
on is the playoffs, but we need to go on a brilliant run. Oh, absolutely. I mean, we virtually have to win every game, I'd say.
Where we're at, and especially where we
but me personally,
you know, people are thinking if we finish 4th from bottom, that was a success.
I don't think we can. And it'd be great if we did.
Really, really well.
But
so, you know, I just think that we just need to be patient.
I just think, you know, we'll have to accept we're in this league again, which is good news. I mean, it could be a lot worse.
And this experience,
just have to see what happens.
This experience of them playing as many games as they have done, next season, I tell you what, they'll be a lot better.
Yes, it'll be interesting to see.
They must strengthen as a way for next season.
I've just been watching Rob Mason, Sunderland club historian.
They've got no ifs and buts that they've got.
Down there collecting your thoughts.
Haka Andrew, I am as well, but it's right what you've said. We need this referee, but we'll see.
What's going through his mind?
Yeah, I'm just sick to death of these referees. I mean, I've worked it out.
Anyway, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thanks for coming up.
Round about 16 points
Click my fingers and bring you back
that
to
we've
reality.
been robbed.
Anyway, look.
This season.
one thing we were going to talk about, because we mentioned this
16 points.
last week, we chatted about it. Yesterday was an anniversary.
Neil Thompson, whatever happens,
it's fallen on the
add
day
quality and strength and depth.
Sunderland play Luton Town.
Just simply have to.
Of course, first and foremost, the important game is today's game.
Because
search for 3
not
points,
only are the young lads,
but obviously, as we've mentioned several times, and
they're
everybody's
small
well
in
aware,
stature as well.
Coming up to the 50th anniversary.
They're not big, they're not bulky.
We
could do with a bit more beefy players.
On this weekend, 50 years ago,
we get knocked off the ball
Luton
quite
Town
easy.
were at Roker Park in the quarter-final. It was an old second division quarter-final. Luton had done the double over Sunderland that season, including beating Sunderland at Kenilworth Road 7 days before the cup quarter-final. But with a big crowd, well over 50,000 packed into Roker Park. 2 goals from 2 corners at the Roker end. First one scored by Dave Watson with a great header. Second one scored by the left back Ron Guthrie, who sort of channeled his inner striker to swivel on a downward header from Richie Pitt and score a great goal from inside the 6-yard box. A really accomplished finish. It gave Sunderland a fantastic win. This was obviously after the game that was eventually voted the match of the century at Roker Park against Manchester City in the previous round, and it sent Sunderland into the semi-finals for the first time since the mid-50s. So a great day, great memory. And Luton coming today, of course, on that anniversary is just great from a nostalgia point of view.
Marvellous yesterday. Marvellous Nakamba. They've got another.
That's going to be used quite a lot today.
Let's hope he's not marvellous.
Sorry, I've got on a complete tangent, but
what's your
they've
name?
got another Zimbabwean.
So in the team news, we've got Patterson in goal, Hume,
marvellous actually.
Ballard,
I'm trying to think what it was. I noticed it.
Bath,
Delicious.
O'Neill,
It might be delicious.
Mishu scored a cracking goal, of course, against Sheffield United.
Musqui,
Roberts, Barr, Clark and Gelhardt. I want him to score. I want him to do well.
Is that brilliant?
And on the subs bench, you've got Bass, Lahaji, Bennett, Douche, Ekwa, Ahmad and Pritchard.
Anyway, look, I've gone off on a tangent. What I was about to say, what I was referring to as marvellous, was there was 2 reels put on social media yesterday. One of them was
happy
a colour
birthday to Try Hume today
reel
as well.
Taken, I think, presumably from the roof of the clock stand, looking back down at the Roker end.
Okay.
That huge bank completely packed.
Yeah.
Fantastic, and one of the goals.
Yeah.
The other was taken from what looks like the would be the south west corner of the Roker end, looking back at the docks, and there's 2 massive shipbuilding cranes, and it pans over all the terraced roofs, and then pans in over the crowd at the Roker end, and it's black and white, and it's absolutely atmospheric.
You can see that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that game against Luton in the 6th round. For some reason I've never quite remembered, I went in with my dad and I stood in the clock stand paddock, which was a change out of habit, because 99 games out of 100 I would be right in the Roker end, right at the back of the Roker end, pretty much where they would put the TV camera at the Roker end on games that were televised. And if there wasn't a TV camera there, you could look over the wall and see that exact vision, that panorama that you've just described. So I'm well familiar with it, and as you say, very, very atmospheric, showing what Sunderland was like at that time. And of course, as always, be that 1973 or 2023 this afternoon, people's lives in Sunderland revolve around the football team and the football club and what's going on at the match. And it's an important game today, but there was when we had Luton here in 1973, it was the most important game people could remember for many, many, many years, because of what was at stake, and the fact that, having got the draw that we wanted, to draw the only other second division team at home in the quarter-final, it gave everybody a real incentive to think, we can get the semi-final here. But to be honest, after beating Manchester City, the players and the crowd were so confident you could have put anybody you like on, and we would have felt we could have had them.
Mick Harford, I think, would have been about 13 or 14 in 1973.
Yeah, he's a little bit younger than me, so that's right. Yeah,
he was in the ground. He was at Roker Park
quite possibly. I think just about everybody else from Sunderland was in the ground that day.
So then, Andrew, we need
a fabulous day. And
a solid back four and a decent referee, and then I would be happy. But if we lose today, that's me done with Sunderland.
from the 73 Cup run. Because
especially at home, Christ, it'd be the third match on the trot we'll lose at home.
And the fifth round
and need to really do some entertaining football and cheer the fans. Hello, Telly. Oh my God, not Gelhardt again. I will remember this time not to shout if there's goals going in if I'm ahead.
Whereas Luton is a fellow second division side, that game tends to get a little bit overlooked. But it shouldn't do, and as I say, with Luton being here today on the exact anniversary of the weekend of playing them in 1973, it brings that game to the fore somewhat.
We were chatting about Mick Harford earlier, and Benno alluded to a Mick Harford team. You know what to expect: big, strong, physical, and in the mould of Mick Harford, I suppose. And I guess that's the Luton Town. That's their hallmark, I guess, because the resources they've got.
Well, if you look at the fact that Sunderland, I mean, just listening to Gary just before I came on air there, and Gary,
I just don't see the infatuation with Gelhardt. I mean, you think we'd have somebody in the under 21s or the reserves that could do a job.
We shouldn't lose sight of the fact that as a newly promoted side, particularly a newly promoted side who finished fifth and came up with the playoffs, we've done very, very well this season. If you look, and I've paid more attention to League One than I've ever done really before, since we dropped into it back, 4 or 5 years ago. And of the teams that have come up from League One since Sunderland went into it, Luton have undoubtedly done the best. Coventry have done very well.
I bet that was his loan clause to play Gelhardt every game. I mean, does that actually happen, Telly, in loans? Is that actually part of certain deals that you have to play every game if we're getting?
But they've done very well to maintain their position and gradually build. And they're still in with a chance of the playoffs this season. Luton Town, on what everybody thinks is quite a low budget by championship levels. Luton Town, who came up from League Two with Coventry about 4 or 5 years ago, League Two, and then came through League One. They've done very, very well in the championship. And
I don't know, just Sunderland this season they've seemed to implode.
They're going to be very, very
at home. There seems to be more pressure at home on the lads than there is when we are away.
But they have a style of playing. They have a style of playing. I was speaking at length to Don Goodman the other night and asking him about Luton, because obviously Don in his role sees a lot of championship football live, and he was saying to me that he felt from what he'd seen Luton were playing a bit more football now than they'd played under Nathan Jones. We'll see whether that's the case this afternoon, but I have I've not seen Luton play since the last time they played us, when they still had Nathan Jones, but I've got the general impression that Luton will be a get it forward early and out-muscle people kind of team. We'll see to what extent that proves to be the case this afternoon.
See, it's interesting, last season when Luton and Huddersfield both made the playoffs, much was made of the fact that Luton and Huddersfield, I think, were the two clubs with the lowest spend in the division. Now, very interesting to see what's happened to Huddersfield since, and Luton have maintained that trajectory.
Huddersfield have obviously fallen away and have had their troubles. They're struggling. But as you say, Luton have remained strong, and if anything, got even stronger. They've got a bit more experience under their belts now.
Yep.
And
it's such a popular time. It's such a common time, Andrew, for teams to give away goals just before half-time. It's like the switch off. I think like half-time's coming up, that's it, we've done it, and that's what seems to happen. It's like the Forest-Newcastle game yesterday. Newcastle scored 3 minutes before half-time. It's a dangerous time for teams if you 1-0 up. And there's just minutes to go for half-time. That's the most chance of conceding a goal, especially the last 3 minutes to go. For some strange reason, teams just, especially at home, tend
with a sort of an average 6-5-6
off,
if you like, in terms of win draws and losses.
So I hope you like the new design website on YouTube here. You've got the scrolling going up.
Back of very, very rarely conceding a goal on the road.
And so
Sunderland are going to do very, very well to break down that Luton Town defence this afternoon, as a lot has been made of. Although Sunderland have scored for, whatever it is, 20-something games in a row now, it's also,
and you can hear the commentary okay, and you can hear me chatting alright as well.
And I suspect we might need to score more than one to win this afternoon. That's against a very tough defence. However, football being football, it sometimes throws up something that's out of what you might expect, and you never know, Sunderland might get a handsome win this afternoon. But at the moment, if you offered me a 2-0 or a 2-1 or a 1-0 win, I would absolutely bite your hand off.
Well, for perspective as well, last 10 games, Luton have conceded 4 goals.
Yeah, exactly.
So and
exactly.
Benno's talked about the way they set up, the way they defend, the 3 at the back. They're going to be difficult.
It's got nothing to do really with how you played before or the team's stats 2 games or 3 games before. It's all on the day, isn't it?
If Sunderland are not going to make the playoffs this season, and obviously as every week's gone by in recent weeks, that looks like a more distant ambition. I think it's still possible, but you're going to need to go on a hell of a run, and a hell of a run with, you know, without a lot of your first choice players who are out. So with your realistic head on, you're thinking, yeah, we're going to be in this division again next year. We have to learn from the teams who are at the top. What are they doing that we are not, that gets us into those positions? And so it might be a case this afternoon that we look at Luton and say, look, they've not got the biggest budget in the world. They're punching above the weight, but what can we learn from them? I'm not saying we then try and become a carbon copy of Luton. I wouldn't want to lose the pluses that Sunderland have got, the attractive play that they've had. But I think everybody knows we need a little bit more muscle.
All and only thing I want you to do, please, is lighten your camera image, please. It's a bit dark. Yeah, I'll have a look for that, no problem.
As you've mentioned there,
it's a very dark day.
Sunderland scoring in every game, but only 1 goal in every game in the last 6. And this Luton run of 6 wins, all 1-0.
Yeah.
It's going to go one of 2 ways. It's going to end 1-0, or it's going to be 6-6 or something ridiculous, isn't it?
Occasionally,
it's one of those, like that Coventry game that day, the 5-4. Nobody saw that coming.
Well, even recently, the 5-1 with Stoke.
Even that,
you know, sometimes you get the odd outlier that completely bucks the trends of the form table. But yes, looking at Luton, looking at the way Sunderland have been. I mean, Sunderland have been doing well to score in every game, given they haven't had any strikers. They've done very, very well, and they've shared the goals around. But yeah, looking at Luton today, you know, I mean, I wouldn't know how to place a bet, let alone actually go and do one. I'm not what you call a betting man.
Such a dark day here in
Carlisle, Cumbria today, and looking for a 1-0. Whether that's for Sunderland or for Luton, I think 1-0 is going to be the most commonly predicted score.
You're a betting man. You do the bet on a Friday night on Total Sport. You do that bet. Which is it? Both sides to score. Where would that rank today?
If you offered me 1-0. I'll snap your hands off now.
Yeah.
I think one of my biggest concerns is...
So hopefully that's a bit better, Andy. You can say that a bit better.
This is the most games they've played in a season, and I just think deep down fatigue is starting to kick in a little bit. And when you are tired legs, tired minds, that's when you start making mistakes.
And you start to feel that more when you've had a few results that have gone against you. You might be able to get by it if you're still getting good results.
That's right, and that's when it starts kicking in. And if, for instance, if Luton score, you think you're looking around and who's going to gather us together to say, right, let's get together now and see if we can get back into that game. You know, you look at Sheffield United on Wednesday. Okay, we talk about the officials; they weren't very good. But I think you look at the way Sheffield United set up, the players who they started with, and straight away, you know, Paul Heckingbottom said he changed the middle of the park. The players who played in the middle of the park, who gave him a little bit more legs, energy. And it was something which we couldn't cope with at times. You know, and that's something which Paul Heckingbottom said, oh, we've got to, because you're looking at Sunderland, and, you know, the likes of Mishu, good player. But this is his first time playing in the Championship. This is his first season, and all of a sudden he's played that so many games, and he's thinking, all of a sudden that fatigue kicks in, tiredness kicks in.
Well, I think we've seen that. I think that's public knowledge with
Matt,
for instance, as an example. And in terms of what you're saying there, Gary, I completely agree with you. But also talking about learning from things, I think you know, that's something we can still learn from our own team. Because I was talking downstairs half an hour ago to a gentleman who is a familiar face who I've seen around and about for many years, and he's a scout for Liverpool. And he was telling me that today is his last game scouting for Liverpool after 44 years. And he said, when he was talking to Bob Paisley, of all people, he said Bob Paisley gave him 3 bits of advice when you're looking at a player. And one of those bits of advice which rings true, and I think is appropriate for Sunderland at the moment, is that you learn more about players in defeat than you ever learn about them in victory. So if things are going badly in games, be it today or between now and the end of the season, with tired players, I think that's when you also learn about players, when you learn who doesn't throw the towel in, who doesn't feel sorry for themselves, who still gives 100%, goes through the pain barrier, if you like. And even if they're not having the greatest of games, still wants the ball. That's when I think you really learn about players.
The mentality. That's what you're looking at. And the biggest word which, you know, we use, especially in football, is reaction. You know, sometimes if you give the ball away,
I can see about mentality, but at the end of the day,
if
your squad's just, if it's just not good enough, it's just not good enough.
What's your reaction going to be? You know, if you make a mistake,
and I think
your reaction's going to be?
Not too far, but just a little bit off the pace when it comes to
you're going to make mistakes.
Playoffs, but I think we're quite away off for automatics.
And that's what you're looking for.
Absolutely.
You know,
the best striker Sunderland's had in my lifetime was Kevin Phillips.
Yeah.
Kevin Phillips missed loads of chances. He missed loads of chances, loads of sitters. But Kevin always used to say to me, he says, Rob, if I miss a chance, I congratulate myself for being in the right place at the right time. And he didn't go missing, he didn't go hiding. Whereas sometimes you see strikers who've missed a few chances and then they're not really quite at it in the way that a top striker like Kevin Phillips would be.
Because you've got to be there to miss it.
Yeah.
It's just like the bus.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not at the bus stop,
and we've been there.
You're not going to get. You're not going to get the bus.
The famous street.
If you're at the bus stop and it drives past unlucky.
And of course, as soon as you mention that, we always go back to Barnsley and the three that missed the bus.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. Yeah,
indeed.
If the driver drives past, it's probably my brother driving it. He drives buses. That'll be him. You've seen you, Benno, and give you a swerve.
Straight through. I'm not stopping here.
I don't know. How could a conversation with us lot ever get round to on the buses? It's like,
hey, it's a fantastic programme.
If I were manager now, what would you be saying to Sunderland? And I'll ask you the same question at half time. But basically, I'll just be saying, you know, more of the same from the Sheffield United match. I thought they played really, really well against Sheffield United, who were a big physical side, have been second off top for most of the season. You're virtually playing a Premier League team. I would encourage them to shoot a little bit more. You know, try not to walk the ball into the box. I would try and say, you know, if you get a bit of space outside the box and you see a sight on goal, have a crack. Have a shot. How can happen?
Thank you very much indeed.
But yeah, there was nothing really much wrong with where we played.
I'll be down with you and we'll ride off into the distance.
Gamble a little bit more on our chances. I think that's what we should do. I don't think it'll be as tough as the Sheffield United game, but hey up. We lost 5-1 against Stoke, but I think that was a mental thing there. I think Alex and Neil got their players up for it a lot more than what we did.
A few early kickoffs to bring you, none in the Premier League, none in the Championship actually either. Not that many Premier League games across the weekend because it's also FA Cup quarter-final weekend.
We've got a game at the minute playing in League One. It's Lincoln 0, Peterborough 1.
1-0 up away at Lincoln. Johnson, Clark, Harris after half an hour. Hartlepool now drawing 1-1 at Bradford City. They were leading for a while. Callum Cook scoring after half an hour for Hartlepool, but Andy Cook equalising for Bradford City early in the second half. They both kicked off at 12:30, so they are very
Hartlepool's just scored. They are now leading 2-1. So I'm ahead of you.
In the Scottish Premiership, Rangers have won 4-2 at Motherwell. They were 1-0 down after just 3 minutes, Rangers, and then were pegged back to 2-2 with an hour to go as well. But they scored a couple, and then Motherwell had Callum Slattery sent off as well 15 minutes from the end. So it was a bit more comfortable for Rangers in the last night, here on BBC Radio Newcastle, Newcastle United left it very late to beat Nottingham Forest at the City Ground.
Willock's cross in, Isak with a header, it's gone behind, referee says penalty! Penalty kick for Newcastle in added on time. So it looked like trivia,
yeah, I've just got to stop trying to walk the ball in. We haven't got the quality of a Man City or an Arsenal. I'd like to see Jack Clark pass the ball a bit more, and Roberts. There's times where, it comes off a goal. It looks great when he takes his man on and he cuts inside and scores. But there's many chances where he can lay the ball off. I would say, well, you know, what a team. You know, instead of just trying to take the whole team on, pass the ball, pass it, create chances for other players. Give Gelhardt a go, you know. Gelhardt, he needs a goal or 2 or 3 or 4.
Obviously, it's a moment of pressure, so I'm not gonna lie about that, but yeah, I felt quite confident taking that penalty.
Just gonna have a look on social media. So go out, I'm going to read through the team news again. There's more people joined the chat. Patterson and goal, got Hume, Ballard, Bath, O'Neill, Neil, Mishu, Roberts, Barr, Clark, and Gelhardt. And on the substitutes we have Bass, Lahaji, Benete, Goosh, Ekwa, Ahmad, and Pritchard on the bench.
After seeing his teams, I'm more than convinced. These 2 days, I'm more than convinced that he's going to come back. But the fact when
people are saying bad news, we have an actual League One referee this weekend. Good news, he can't possibly be any worse than the idiots we have had lately. You'd be surprised in this league, aren't you?
Hartlepool have now taken the lead, and it's only the 71st minute. So Daniel Kemp has put Hartlepool 2-1 up.
Yep, I already said Hartlepool.
Bradford City. 5 Premier League matches taking place today as well. The bottom club Southampton host 4th place Spurs. Aston Villa host Bournemouth, Brentford at home to Leicester, Wolves at home to Leeds. All of those kick off at 3 o'clock. The final game of the day is Chelsea against Everton at 5:30. And there are some very important non-league fixtures today as well. It's getting to that promotion and relegation stage of the season now, starting with relegation, unfortunately. Gateshead at home to Torquay in National League, a huge game for them. Blythe Spartans away at Brackley Town in National League North, also a big relegation game for them. Top of the table, Northern Premier League, South Shields away at Hyde United. We're going to come back to talk about them and Blythe Spartans in just a moment, actually. But our featured game of the day is down the bottom of that same Northern Premier League Premier Division. Morpeth at home to Stalybridge Celtic. Craik Park is where our non-league reporter Paul Dixon is stationed this afternoon. Good afternoon, Paul.
Good afternoon, Colin. Yeah.
They're not in deep trouble, Morpeth, but they need points to avoid slipping into that kind of situation.
Well, they are. Well, they need 3 points today, and I would say it's got to be. I mean, they're 17th in the league, and Stalybridge 18th. And Stalybridge last week went toe-to-toe with South Shields. I've been very much informed that this team today that Morpeth are putting out is probably the strongest they've had out for a while, Colin. So hopefully today they can pick the baton up. I've just had a word with Craig Lynch there, and he's very optimistic that they'll get 3 points this afternoon. But, you know, they've got to start winning these games. You know, you kind of just keep talking about it. They've got to go out there, score the goals and get the 3 points and push their way up the league.
And fingers crossed they can do that this afternoon. Now, South Shields at the other end of this same division, of course, away at Hyde United today. Yeah. They've got 3 really tough games in a row. They play the teams that are, not in this order, but 2nd, 3rd and 5th in their next 3 games. They are 10 points clear at the top of the table, we mustn't forget that, but you saw them on Tuesday night when they were beaten by FC United of Manchester and deserved to be beaten on the night.
Well, they did. They didn't look like a 10-point clear team top of the league the other night. There was a real big crowd there, but you know, the team were playing FC United just, you know, were worthy winners. They went one behind and then they just took the game away from South Shields, and it could have been a lot more. Shields, they need to get back on the horse today and get back on winning ways. But, you know, with 10 points, I mean, it's a big start, that, Colin, it is.
Yeah, it's a nice position to be in. We will be at Mariners Park.
How many points are we on at the minute? We are currently on...
They're still 2nd come next Saturday, we'll see. But yes, no Newcastle or Sunderland next weekend. We will be live.
Sunderland are currently on...
next Saturday afternoon. Just a quick word on Blythe as well, though, because we were talking about
points.
this earlier.
Preston North End above us on 53 points, and then in 10th we've got Watford on 54,
April, you and I
Coventry on 54, 9th and 8th we've got West Brom on 55, and Norwich on 56.
For promotion, for the 1 promotion spot.
So
in relegation trouble
the league table at the moment doesn't lie where we are. I think we are a bang on mid-table team in the Championship.
When they found out that Blythe had scored and won, they need to do that again purely for their own benefit this time.
You know, if we could have just improved our home form a bit, and if the referees hadn't been a bunch of twats, then I think you're looking at the playoffs. I do believe we've been robbed at least 16 points this season by these referees.
They've got to come up with the goods.
Yeah,
because I ain't just spitting a dummy out. They have been absolute shite.
But still very much in
Shite. Utter shite.
Thank you very much for the moment. Then we will bring you updates at half-time and at full-time of Morpeth against Stalybridge Celtic in the Northern Premier League East Division. In the Premier Division. In the East Division, which is what I'm going to mention next. Hebburn are away at Long Eaton United. Hebburn in 2nd. Worksop, who are so far clear at the top that they could actually win the league title if things go well this afternoon. But Hebburn away at Long Eaton United. Consett at home to Ossett United. North Shields at home to Sheffield. And Dunstan should have been at home to Grantham Town. That game called off because of a waterlogged pitch. And according to the club's official Twitter account, Also cancelled as a result is the karaoke event in the clubhouse. So if that's the only reason you were going along, then we've done our public service bit as well, because that has also been postponed, as well as Dunstan against Grantham on the pitch. In the Scottish Lowland League, Berwick Rangers away at Cowdenbeath this afternoon, which not too long ago was a Scottish League 2 fixture. But Berwick Rangers, having won 6 in a row before last weekend, then lost the game, looking to get back to winning ways. A couple of games postponed in the Northern League as well to tell you about. Newcastle Benfield against Carlisle City in Division 1 and Jarrow against Blythe Town in Division 2, both off because of issues with the pitches. We will have a non-league roundup at 5:45, though we've not been able to say that for a few weeks, but we will be back at 5:45. Elsewhere locally then across the weekend in the Women's Championship, both of our teams in action at midday tomorrow. Durham away at Southampton, Sunderland at home to Sheffield United. So if you want to get along to Eppleton, it's a 12 o'clock kick-off tomorrow. In the basketball, the men, Newcastle Eagles BBL Championship last night lost by 3 points at home to London Lions, who are probably going to go on to win the league. But the Eagles led for the vast majority of the game, and they lost that lead then with 3 minutes to go. They were 3 points behind at the very end, had a chance to take it to overtime. The three-pointer, though, from David Cohen hitting the backboard and not dropping. So they lose by 3 points. Javion Hamlet top scoring for the Eagles with a mighty 30. They are on the road tomorrow. They're away at Manchester Giants at 5 o'clock. But also, Newcastle Eagles women WBBL Trophy semi-final tonight. Huge game for them. They're at home to Leicester Riders. It is fair to say that the Riders start favourites, but nonetheless, the Eagles head coach Leah Cachero is confident.
We're coming into this semi-final with almost a full roster, so we're feeling pretty confident. We deserve to be here. We've done the work to be here, and nobody has given us anything along the way. So I think the girls are going into this game knowing that we're playing an equal, and we'll see what happens in 40 minutes of play.
And thank you to the person bouncing the basketball in the background, just to prove that it was a basketball interview, that one. Rugby League-wise, Newcastle Thunder in the Championship at home to London Broncos this afternoon. That one kicks off in about 25 minutes' time at 3 o'clock. Tomorrow in the ice hockey...
What you guys on the chat thinking? We've got 13 people watching. If you just click the thumbs up, thank you. And just subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. Thank you very much.
Up at Lincoln, Jack Taylor with their second. And it's Bradford 2, Hartlepool 2, because Andy Cook has got his second. So both of those games kicked off at 1 o'clock. So about 15 minutes left to go in those. In the Six Nations then, it's the final weekend. The first of 3 matches today saw third place Scotland host bottom of the table Italy at Murrayfield, and they beat them in the end, Scotland, 26-14, and it's a bonus point victory as well, which matters in terms of finishing positions, but it was a lot tighter for a lot of that game than the scoreline suggests. Scotland scoring a couple of brilliant tries at the start and at the end. Meanwhile, Ireland have the opportunity to complete a Grand Slam and obviously win the Six Nations in the process. They play England in Dublin this afternoon at 5 o'clock. It'll be Ireland captain Johnny Sexton's final Six Nations match. He'll retire after the World Cup later this year. If Ireland slip up, even though this is the wrong way round chronologically, if Ireland slip up, France can win the...
Hey, your hair's cool, son!
The Stade de France. That was a 2:45 kickoff, so they get underway in about 7 minutes' time. France have to win to then put the pressure on Ireland to win themselves. Finally, in Formula 1, the qualifying for the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix, which is the second race of the season, takes place at 5
Formula 1,
today,
that's totally fucking boring this season, that like.
Tomorrow, but we are just over 20 minutes away from kickoff at the Stadium of Light as well. Sunderland taking on Luton. Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett back to take you through the build-up and full commentary in just a moment.
I've been asking whether you've ever found anything weird in your loft.
Matt Bailey at breakfast. I'm sitting in my living room waiting for the arrival of Judy Cartledge.
Our reporter, Caroline Briggs, she's currently having her attic converted. Builders found 2 childhood paintings nailed behind a plasterboard wall.
And here on the table, I believe, are your childhood paintings.
Judith Sutherland, 1969.
I was obviously very artistic, that's why I got it in that kind of shape.
I remember doing lots and lots of paintings. It's bringing back lots of lovely memories.
Hi, Marion, let's do this today. Yeah, fingers crossed we do. Don't forget, anybody that's just coming on the channel, click the thumbs up. Thank you.
Total Sport.
On the station with Newcastle and Sunderland commentary exclusively live.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
So despite a fear yesterday, there might have been a couple of injuries in the Sunderland squad. It's an unchanged team. Patterson in goal, Hume, Ballard, Bart, O'Nien, Neil, Mishu,
Can everybody hear me okay? Can everybody hear the commentary okay? It's not too bad. Hello, Doug B. Need to find a cue for our home performances. It's been absolutely awful, hasn't it?
Unusually this afternoon, both teams unchanged. Luton, Horvath in goal, back three of Osho, Lockyer and Bell, and midfielder Drame, Nakamba, marvellous Nakamba, Berry and Doughty, Campbell sitting in behind Adebayo and Carlton Morris. That's the starting 11 for Luton Town, who won't be in their traditional tangerine and white. They'll be wearing navy blue black tops this afternoon with nice big bold white numbers on the back, right? I hope.
You hope.
I'm told. I was chatting to our analyst earlier. Actually, did say they have got nice big numbers on the back, because he did then say yes.
Something else is doing my head in. I wish the commentary team pulling Sunderland down. Yeah, Gary Bennett's a bit negative at times. Telly says 55 points, then we are safe. I think we're safe already, Telly. That was when we beat Norwich 1-0. I think that secured our safety.
It's there to help everybody. It's not, it's passion. The number's not on the back for the hell of it.
Passion.
Huh? I'm not sure I like it.
Numbers. Funny enough, we was talking about that, numbers, and it's gone now. You're 1 to 11. You've gone like 55, 60, 77, and whatever.
Do you remember when Manchester United were here with their under-21s? I think they had an 80 something, didn't they?
And then the question was asked, what is a 9.5?
Well, yeah. I mean, that was Tony Mowbray talking about Gelhardt's role. He's not quite a 10, and he's not a number 9. He's
so you
a
have 9.5 on your back.
He's in between. Yeah.
Hey, number 9.5.
9.5.
9.5.
A 9.5. Anyway, that's what Gelhardt is. Gelhardt's a 9.5. So he's here again, having to plough that lonely furrow through the middle up front for Sunderland. All credit to Sunderland this season as well, their fans. There's going to be another big turnout today.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. As I said, it's been very enjoyable watching Sunderland, and I think, like I've mentioned before, we shouldn't get carried away. Okay, we're coming to the end of the season. We're going to have 1 or 2 ups and downs, but I think the support has been fantastic. They've really stuck with the team.
We also this afternoon have met, and if you listen to Total Sport regularly on BBC Radio Newcastle, you'd have heard the Sunderland fan Gus. I think he's from Durham. Gus is a regular. He sits in the Roker end. Well, he's been in today to see Steve Davison, the Chief Operating Officer, to discuss the digital ticketing which is being introduced next season. And of course, you may remember it was Gus who held a one-man protest outside the stadium. Was moved
with his
placard. With his placard, he was moved outside the Roker End Cafe.
Beginning of the season, most people were predicting mid-table finish.
He's been in to see Steve Davison. He came up to see us to say hello. So it's lovely to put a face to the name.
And that's what it looks like to be. Yeah, I do agree. Andrew says if the commentary team can do any better, get their boots on and help us out. Oh, yes, absolutely.
Indeed. And I think a lot of the
don't forget, we've got a poll going on in the chat. How do you think the lads will do today? It's currently 50-50.
Access to smartphones and how are they actually going to be able to obviously get their season tickets and use them.
Exactly. So I'm hoping Gus will come on the show next week. He's bound to phone up, and it'd be worth asking Gus, and we're getting Gus to explain why he now feels that his mind has been, his fears have been put to rest. And just to clear all that up, because I still know there are people, and he spoke about some today, and I met some in the North Stand on Wednesday night who've not got smartphones, who still use only cash and can't use contactless.
Technology is way down my list.
It's way beyond us.
Can I tell you, funny enough, this morning I've had to call upon my son to call round today to actually sort my printer out because it was supposed to connect with my
Miles better than
PC.
Finishing the bottom half of the table, isn't it?
And he had to come round and basically show me the ins and outs, and that just goes to show me I struggle. So you can imagine the likes of Gus and other people.
I mean, to the extent to which you and I struggle is illustrated by the fact that when we go to an away game, I write you a letter of where we're going to meet up and what time.
That's right. Don't send text messages because it doesn't work.
That's the only way we can communicate and find out where we're meant to be and where we're going.
Old-fashioned.
And there's nothing wrong with that. So we're going to hear from Tony Mowbray in just a moment. Plenty to talk about over the last week or so. We avoided referees, actually, because I think if we'd spoken about referees, we'd still be there now.
It's a strange one, isn't it? And funny enough, it's a one-off that the official has come out and apologised.
Well, the head of referees, Kevin Friend, actually phoned Tony Mowbray this week and apologised. Now, for what it's worth, you've lost the game on the basis of a rank bad decision by the officials. I don't suppose it was the phone call that Tony Mowbray really wanted to receive, but there you go.
But why has he had to do that? And it's, we talk about VAR, and again, sometimes VAR's there to help, obviously, the teams and especially the referee. But sometimes it's thrown back onto the referee to make the decisions, and then you're thinking, hold on a minute, you've got people there, you've got maybe referees who are watching it from all different angles, yet they can't make a decision, yet they want the referee to make a decision. And usually, and sometimes, well, not usually, they get it wrong.
Shoddy, that's what it is, shoddy. Anyway, Scott Oldham's the referee this afternoon. He was here in December 2021 when Sunderland beat Plymouth 2-1, and nothing leaps out at me particularly from that game.
The thing is, Nick, referees will make wrong decisions. That's a fact. They're not going to get everything right.
They shouldn't make glaring decisions like Wednesday night.
But there again,
mistakes on that of that degree.
But he's got an assistant.
Exactly.
What was the assistant doing?
Yeah.
Can't he keep up with play?
I've got it on mute at the moment. I'm on the fence at the moment. Got no sound. Should have it now.
Anyway, let's have a listen now to the Sunderland head coach Tony Mowbray, who I spoke with yesterday afternoon.
Tony, you said a month or two back that this is a team that is not going to be scoring 2 or 3 goals in games. I mean, you've been spot on. I think every game has been won, hasn't it? And as a coach, does that feel slightly suffocating? You're working with a team that's got the talent that it's got, that you'd like to be able to expand, but as you've been outlining, teams are going to, they're not letting you do that, not letting you play.
Yeah. Listen, it's a real conundrum for us, really. And I say this, not just me, my whole staff, really. We sit there for hours sometimes debating, do we double down on what we do to try and win this game, or are we going to just give the ball back and try and have good shape behind it and try and nick it off them, and so that it's 1 or 2 passes for a shot rather than 10 passes for a shot, or a brilliant Roberts Maisie run to slip somebody in. We're always having these debates of what's the best way, and I think in the defence of the coaching staff, myself as well, including that, we haven't got it wrong too many times, I don't think, and yet the one glaring time we got it wrong, it was probably the most hurtful game, I suppose, for the supporters, but which is why on that day I felt as if it was right to apologise. But we could have easily made a decision that we were just going to play over the top of Stoke, and if you talk to their manager and their coaching staff, they're struggling at home because they can't break teams down. They can't score a goal when teams sit in against them, and yet Stadium of Light, were we going to just sit in and sit men behind the ball and see if Stoke could break us down but let them have it? Not really. I don't think it's how to play at home, but probably the best thing for me to say is that we have some challenges with what we have available, and some choices to make, because I don't want to sit and say we haven't got any players, because we have. Pritchard at this moment is sitting on the bench, and Gooch is sitting on the bench. There's experienced players, and yet coming back from injury, I don't think the right thing is to expose them to a couple of 90 minutes back to back. And so I think after the international break, neither of them are going away in international, so they'll get plenty of work and build up and probably be ready and robust after that break. But it is a challenge, and 1 goal every game, as we found out, isn't enough sometimes, particularly if you're not the team who sits lots of men behind the ball and tries to score a 1-0 from a set play. We try and expand to score goals, and so we are more vulnerable than the teams who sit lots of men behind the ball and don't push their full-backs on or inside and have a real defensive structure. We ended up having to do that at Norwich, and they showed that they can do it. But the game dictated that, because Norwich gambled a little bit and pushed extra bodies on, and we had to defend, and we've shown that we can do that. But and on that day, 1-0 was enough. So the team we're playing this week, they've done that 3 times on the bounce now: 1-0, 1-0, and 1-0. we have to be mindful of that if they do get in front, how difficult it is to break them down, as their results have shown. But it's a game we're looking forward to, but it's a game that we know it's a tough game against a side who haven't fluked their way into the top 6. They are really hard working and good at what they do.
You spoke after Norwich about how important it was to score the first goal, and
admits the lack of scoring, but never changes the forward. I know.
Yes, you scored the first goal, and the stats will say you lost the game, but actually, really, you could argue, you still saw that game out in one sense, because the goal shouldn't have stood. So again, it just shows how important against Luton probably the first goal was going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, so you've answered your own question. Really, it is hugely important, the first goal in any football match. But we have come back and won football matches this season ourselves from being a goal down, and so it can be done. And as they showed the other night, rightly or wrongly, but so I'm wary of saying, the first goal is massively important, because if we concede the first goal, we still have to believe we can still win the game. Get the next one and get the crowd going and attack.
Look at 16 in the channel. If you can hit that thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you're new, thank you very much indeed.
For us,
we're only just about 7 minutes from kick-off.
I think the first goal is important.
It's filling up quite nicely, the stadium, I like.
Norwich, and to a degree, the other night. How pleased have you been with Clark and Roberts and the roles that they have now? Because they're going to have to learn new tricks, if you like. The two players that like to get forward all the time, but they're having to learn now to track back, get back, defend, and learn that side of the game.
Yeah. And I think they've taken it on board. I think Jack was playing left wing back when I first arrived, so he'd already had that instilled into him that he has to run. The good thing about them both is that they can run. It was just making sure they understood that. I believe every.
Got the team news again, if anybody's not missed it. Patterson and goal, and Ballard, Bath, Roberts, 09, and Barr, Clark, Neil,
attackers walking
Michu.
over the halfway line, shaking their head or hands on their hips, and the ball goes in our net is something I don't want to see, and everybody knows that, really. And
I just went off there for a second.
That doesn't mean we're going to win every game, of course, but I think it's important when you.
Sorry, Patterson and goal, and Hume, Ballard, Bath, 09. Mishu, Roberts, Barr, Clark and Gelhard, and the substitutions are Bass, Elhaji, Benete, Goosh, Ekwa, Ahmad and Pritchard. I'm going to see what other people are going to be saying about that.
Who's a real special talent, of course, and can
seriously think Neil should have been rested and Ekwa given the opportunity.
Grit and determination, and I try and
we'll get bullied and outfought today. Luton are very direct and strong like Stoke. Someone else is not confident.
Over the last 3 or 4 years.
3 games a week. 3 games in a week with the same 11. More height in the Hobbit series.
Talked about that. I mean, do you think your
still no belief?
Got an identity yet, or has it been too?
Still no beef in there or no height. A lot of people are complaining about the beefiness of our teams. Hello, Malcolm. The results shouldn't depend on the officials, but it does. I say, 16 points so far, I would say, this season have been robbed from Sunderland through shit refereeing.
Brentford are probably a good example of a team that you might.
Is he keeps strong players on the bench, but we need more experience required. Yeah, very weird.
The pitch, but when you watch them play,
but the majority of fans on that Sunderland on the Sunderland webpage are saying that we could do with a bit more oomph, a bit more physical presence in our Sunderland side today.
Striker and you run off the back of him, and so you have to know. You've got to, in an ideal world, you've got both options on any given day of how you're going to play and what you're going to do, and you can do both equally as well. And I just think that's what we're missing a little bit: the diverse ways of playing to win games. Because when you've been in the game a long time, that's what you understand is that there's not just one way to win a football match. Even the great Man City, their goalie will hit an 80-yard diagonal pass over the top for the striker diving off the wide area in behind them. Because when teams are pressing Man City, because they know that 95% of the time they're going to take the goal kicks into their penalty area, so commit up to 7 or 8 players and leave 2 back and try and win it high up. Every now and then they just bang it over the top because the goalie can kick it 80 yards and they're through one-on-one. And obviously there's been examples over the years of their strikers scoring amazing goals with an assist from
Send you asleep, Tony.
So that just highlights the.
Send you asleep, Tony, over here, can't he?
You shouldn't just play at one.
He's done so far. He's done all right. He's kept us up.
We do want to try and play with the ball and yet it is difficult sometimes against some of the teams in this league that are very set up to press you hard.
Mick Harford you'll know really well. He's known obviously well here.
Yeah.
He's often back at Sunderland watching games. And how much is that Luton?
Thanks for the thumbs up there. Thanks for the subscribers there. Thank you very much.
Come from Mick as the director of sort of recruitment, because you said that Rob Edwards just had to slip back into that role. Nathan Jones came back to it. Yeah. You know, and those players, it's Mick Harford's team in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, I think culturally, they if they don't run and work and compete, they don't play for that club. I don't think, and I think that seems to me as if that's, you know, and Mick will tell me after the game probably if I got it wrong, but it seems to me that the non-negotiable to play for Luton Town is that you have to compete and run and be accountable for your position on the pitch. So they do have some good footballers. They do have some physicality. They do it a lot of diagonals onto their big strikers who don't play down the middle but play wide, and they fill the middle of the box by their running eights who run centrally into the box.
Mowbray gives the opposition too much respect. Yeah, he does. So he certainly does.
They've very much got an identity that works for them. You know, our
if the rumour is true that Tony Mowbray is leaving Sunderland after the season ends, I've heard that as well. I really have. Put it this way, I don't think Tony Mowbray is the manager to take us into the Premier League. Far from it.
Defend well against them because they ask questions of you. So yeah, we'll look forward to that challenge. But regarding Mick, I think yes, he was. I played against Mick. I've probably got the scars above my eyes still, but you know, he's a good man, and he's full of, you know, earthiness really when you talk to him. And so I'm pretty sure in his recruitment he would expect graft and tenacity from the players he signs.
And then finally, I mean, the other night Ousmane Dembele was watching. I don't know if it's filtered down from above what he thought of the game the other night.
Well, I haven't asked, to be honest. I don't know. I think it's difficult sometimes if you're like a superstar footballer, you know, who was part of the team that beat England in the semi-final of the World Cup, to you know, playing at the level he plays at, to comment on a second-tier game in England. I'm not sure, but so I didn't get any feedback. But yeah, it's good that he was watching. I think anybody in world football come to the Stadium of Light and be impressed by the surroundings. And you know, it wasn't a 45,000 crowd, but it was still, you know, live on the TV in midweek. It's still a good crowd, and see with the passion and the emotion of the stadium, and so I'm sure they've enjoyed the experience.
Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett, MBE.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Beautiful day on Wearside. It's very, very mild, certainly in respect of the temperatures we've been having over the last few weeks. We're waiting for the teams to appear, and the flag's being waved at the Roker end, and the flag's being waved by the mascots down below us. Both teams unchanged this afternoon. Sunderland with Patterson in goal, Hume, Ballard, Bart, O'Nien, Neal, Michoud, Roberts, Barr, Clark and Gelhardt. And Luton, Horvath, Osho, Lockyer, Bell, Drame, Nakamba, marvellous Nakamba, Berry, Doughty, Campbell, Adebayo and Morris.
I've just realised I've got no team sheet.
And we've got, no, we haven't got any team sheets.
What happened there?
You are totally bereft, I'm afraid. You'll have to make it up as you go along.
I do indeed.
Referee is Scott Oldham, who's in light blue and black. And the team's lining up. And I'm pleased to say that Luton do indeed have big, bold white numbers on the backs of their shirts this afternoon. And they are away to our right-hand side at the Roker end at this moment in time. And Sunderland.
Can everybody hear the match commentary okay? Is it coming round loud enough? Can you hear it okay?
And we'll be in there, red and white stripes, black shorts and red socks. I mean, how many mascots have we got today? We've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think we've got 11 mascots today. They're all in the centre circle, having their photographs taken. And Luton, as I say, it's sort of black, navy blue shirts, white shorts and white socks. 4th in the table.
Fagalore 69, say hi, hello.
Defeat in the last 10, and their last 6 wins have all been 1-0. Rob Edwards in charge, because Rob Edwards was in charge at Watford earlier in the season when Sunderland were at Vicarage Road, and picked up the reins from Nathan Jones when he left for Southampton in November, and has just continued where Nathan Jones left off. Last season they finished 6th in the playoffs, but didn't make it through to the playoff final. They're 4th currently in a strong spell of form, and at the moment they are lined up at the edge of the centre circle. Interesting, very respectful of the Luton players to line up around the centre circle while Wise Men Say rang out. It'll be Luton to kick off this afternoon. They remain defending the Roker end. They'll be attacking the north end of the stadium. And referee Scott Oldham just checking his watches and gets the game underway. And there's a pause a moment while Luton eventually decide to kick the ball back to Ethan Horvath, who's on loan from Nottingham Forest, the American goalkeeper, who was called up this week by the States for the internationals.
Absolutely, Dugby. Want to start the day in a good mood or so? Of course we do.
To Luton on the left, which Alfie Doughty takes down the line. It goes headed away from Elijah Adebayo for a throw again to Luton down this left-hand side, and Doughty forwards again, left wing back to take this throw. He's looking for some support here. Amari Bell strolls back. He's probably the closest. It could be a long throw here from Doughty, into the penalty area. Headed well out by Hume, only as far on the far side. Eventually played down that right-hand side by Cody Dramé, on loan from Leeds, who swung across into the penalty area, but it's cleared by Sunderland out for a throw to Luton on the far side. Ethan Horvath in goal then for Luton. Gabriel Osho, Tom Lockyer and Amari Bell are the centre-backs. Cody Dramé and Alfie Doughty the wing-backs. Marvellous Nakamba and Luke Berry in central midfield. Alan Campbell behind Elijah Adebayo and Carlton Morris. As Luton in possession at the moment are halfway on the far side with Osho, and the ball cleared by O'Nien as he played it forwards down the right.
Yeah, and we need to kick into spaces, no sloppy playing.
Throw again to Luton Town. Inside the Sunderland half on the right-hand side, which Dramé will take, the 21-year-old on loan from Leeds, who was once upon a time on Fulham's books as a youngster, and he's going to get another throw. Halfway inside the Sunderland half on the right-hand side, 0-0 in this opening few minutes. From the 3rd minute. Dramé and again looking for a bit of movement from Campbell, but it comes back off Adebayo, who's gone across the far side.
I'm watching the same stream as what you lot are.
Trying to dribble down the touchline, tackled by Dramé. It's a throw to Luton again, just inside the Sunderland half on the right-hand side. So Dramé again inside, looking to try and get the ball into the Berry in the centre. One back by Michu, and then poked through to Barr, given away, and Morris to Adebayo, and down goes Patterson, and makes a comfortable save actually down to his left.
And that's what we're talking about. You know, Barr did well getting the ball, good swivel on the ball, but then give it away. You've got to look after it a lot better.
Barr to the back for Sunderland, just outside the penalty area.
Got an early goal already. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Birmingham 1. Queen's Park's having a terrible time at the minute.
Gelhardt, then one back with a foul on Michu on the left edge of the centre circle, just inside the Sunderland half, and a free kick to Sunderland in their red and white stripes.
Adebayo is a big lad as well, isn't he?
He's strong.
Yeah.
6'4" he is. As the ball played by Berry, eventually through to Adebayo, who just played it back over the top of Berry, but driven down the left and cleared by Hume, and up towards Gelhardt, who's laid it off quickly, out to Hume on this right-hand side, to Roberts on this right-hand side, Hume behind him. Roberts cutting inside though, and trying to play a reverse ball down the right wing here now to Michu down the edge of the penalty area, forced out towards the touchline, plays it back to Roberts, who's opened up some space here into the penalty area. Roberts on his left trying to tee up,
trying to pick somebody out,
but it was intercepted. It's a throw.
Great touch by Roberts.
Queen's Park Rangers 0, Birmingham 1, and it's finished Bradford City 2, Hartlepool 2 this afternoon. There was an early kick-off. Here's Hume on the right. He's got Roberts out wide, and Roberts now head down again, trying to get to the goal line. Doughty trying to get a foot to it. Roberts still going through.
Got 29 people watching now. Hit the thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you are new. Thank you. Jennifer
Roberts
Andrews. Hiya DJ from Malta. How you doing? How's the weather there in Malta, Jennifer?
A bit frustrated as he gets himself up, picks himself up, and a goal kick it will be. 5 minutes played live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Ethan Horvath then kicks down the left, headed away by Ballard up to the halfway line. A foot in from Barr, drops though for Adebayo, plays it back to Amari Bell, and forwards up through the middle looking for Luke Berry.
It's got to be Paul, 57% so far. See, Sunderland won't win today. With 43, seeing
rolls it out to Luke O'Nien.
Not many confident people about.
Back through Neil to O'Nien, and he's looking for
hey,
a longer ball
cheers,
down the left wing for Clark,
BMYZ. Thank you.
By Osho, and into the centre circle, trying
Love
to get
you
it
too,
forward.
whoever you
Neil with his head.
are.
Back it comes through to Tom Lockyer, Welsh international. Down the left wing, looking for Adebayo. It's
cool. It's everybody's just having a good banter and a good pass on.
Clear down
yourself doing all right. I've managed to get the scrolls going the same. You know what you've got, the scrolls and that work, and I managed to get that done.
On this right hand side.
Took a while, but
it's Wolves 0, Leeds 1. Now what's the referee seen here? He's blown.
Yeah,
he's having a word with Michu.
This is a Ketamine sponsored channel also, all right.
I'm not sure what he's trying to say to the two of them. Rotherham 0, Cardiff 1. 17
degrees today in Malta.
Now he's jogging across to have a word with Hume. Picks the ball up. It's going to be a drop ball here.
Watford.
To Hume. So I don't know what that was all about. And it's played inside on the halfway line to Barr, out wide to Clark on the far side. Clark dribbling at Dramé. Low ball in, straight at the goalkeeper.
Starting quite bright. We are starting all right.
Gelhardt in the right place if there was spillage. Aston Villa 1, Bournemouth 0. 0-0 here at the Stadium of Light.
Aston Villa took the lead against Bournemouth. What was the other score, Anther?
To Dramé. Down the right wing for Luton Town. Crosses here, and Ballard has to head it out. He's done well.
Who's Leeds playing again? 1-0 Leeds.
Barr has his eye on it between the two centre-backs. It's going to drop for Osho to nod down here to Bell. And the Jamaican international will take this up to the halfway line and then play it short to Berry. Gives the ball away to Hume. Hume to Michu now, and Michu out wide to Roberts, looking for Gelhardt, trying to flick it back inside. It came behind Hume, Michu, sorry, and picked up by Berry. Berry down the left wing to Adebayo. Overlap coming from Doughty. He pushes it on, but sliding in is Hume. Throw to Luton. 10 yards or so from the corner on the left. Doughty, I suspect it could be another long throw here, is it? No, he's come back to Bell on this left-hand side. And he's trying to shake off Gelhardt, finds Doughty, crosses towards the far post, Patterson stretches, plucks that down. And,
I know we one of our last games of the season away from home and went up with Mick McCarthy. I think we won something like 5-0 or something, or 5-2.
Clark back inside to Bart, and Bart will play it back to Patterson, who taps it out to Ballard on the right. Ballard now out wide to Roberts. Roberts inside to Michoud, and Michoud swings the ball across. It's a poor ball, and it'll go out for a throw halfway inside the Luton half on their right-hand side.
Who's our local rivals? Middlesbrough got today?
Nearly 9 minutes played. Sunderland 0, Luton Town 0. It's been rather sort of nice so far. I don't think it's been anything.
Yeah, it has been nice, and you just look at the way Luton
easy 3 points for them.
They actually play with 2 strikers. Adebayo and Morris.
There is Morris nodding the ball down.
Are we being too harsh on Gelhardt, do you think?
From Morris's header. Carlton Morris, 27 years old, signed from Barnsley in the summer, where he'd spent a season. Previous to that, he'd been at Norwich City. He'd spent a lot of time out on loan, but they seem to have picked up a player. 3 goals in his last 3, 5 in his last 7, 16 goals this season. So now he is in the.
There's a lot of people saying Gelhardt isn't
in fact, he's standing just outside
getting the service. Yeah, good sign when the black cat shows up.
Yeah,
he's not getting the service, Gelhardt. A lot of people who stick up for him say that.
And Lockyer's looking for it. So is Morris, gets his head on the end of it, and it's O'Nien who hooks it away in the end. Drops out in midfield for marvellous Nakamba, and then lost to Clark. And Clark beaten by Campbell, but Clark wins it back and then slips over. And Campbell takes this on.
Gilesy and Steve doing a commentary as well. Surprised he's not at the game today.
And Doughty tried a shot. It's blocked by Dan Neal, and Neal's got nowhere to go for. He's going to play it wide to the right here. Gelhardt takes it up over the halfway line. Roberts in support here. Roberts now tries to play the ball through into the penalty area for Barr, but straight through to Ethan Horvath.
And sometimes that causes the problem, doesn't it? Because we've got so many. Well, when I say so many, we've got everybody back goal side.
Well, when we do over the top.
Yeah, when we do win the ball, we haven't really got a target man, have we?
That was it. It had to go square. It couldn't go forwards. Here's Tom Lockyer, one of the 3 centre backs, out to Bell on the left, and Roberts went to close him down. Bell just flicks it away to the left and over the halfway line now, down this left-hand side, looking for Morris. It's laid off to Doughty, and then it's swept into the penalty area, and Patterson takes it above Adebayo. Gets it out quickly now to Clark. Clark up over the halfway line. He's got Osho on the back foot, then Osho slides in and pokes the ball away to Berry.
Tackle.
And Clark felt he was fouled. They just got to get up and get on with it. And here's Campbell, Alan Campbell. Lays it off to Drame on the far side.
I said this before the game. So someone was asking a question on my chat, what do we need to do? And I says we need to start passing the ball. I says especially Clark. I says he's got this thing where he just wants to take everybody on all the time.
Out for a throw to Sunderland.
Yeah, we spoke about Jack Clark.
Yeah. Pass it, man.
Coming across the field. How many times does he do that? And then he loses the ball.
Throw will be taken by Hume. Halfway inside the Sunderland half, back to Ballard. Ballard brings it down in front of Adebayo, playing it up.
Big game of where I'm living at the minute. Carlisle against Stevenage, which is the top of the table clash.
Circle, squares it to Dan Neal. Man on, shouts the crowd. It was Morris. Plays it to O'Nien and out to Clark. And Clark back inside now to Dan Neal. And Neal trying to caress the ball and lay it off to Barr. Back inside to Michoud on halfway. Behind him is O'Nien and back
I can
to
go
Bart.
for monetisation again. I just need to get my hours up, and then I'm going to have to scroll through every bloody video to make sure. Surely can't get rejected 3 times on the bounce.
Back again to Danny Bart. Bart across to Ballard. Closed down by Adebayo. Gets
Sledgehammer's coming out
Roberts,
if it's not.
And he's tried a little flick. Wins a throw.
Sledgehammer will be coming out if it
Steals
isn't. If I get rejected again.
Referee's called him back. Hume will take the throw. Just a few yards down.
Pyjamas, I think you need your ears washed out, didn't you?
0-0. Live on BBC Radio Newcastle.
You just look where Luton are. You know, they play a high line, don't they? Because they know that no one's going to be running.
They're right off the halfway line, aren't they?
Look where the space is behind.
Yeah.
Very compact.
To Barr. Taps it to
No.
Neil. Leaves it for Mishu. O'Nien. Then out wide again to Clark. Clark inside to Dan Neil. And Neil looks up. Through to Gelhardt. Little back heel, but it's too far ahead of Mishu. Bell clears it. Straight to O'Nien. Then Clark. Back to Dan Neil. Neil, there's a poor pass this time, but it's cut out by Bell at the edge of the penalty area. Leaves it for Lockyer.
That was just nowhere.
And Lockyer plays it on over the halfway line.
Gelhardt had 2 chances last game that he should have finished, says Doug.
It's picked up by Marvellous Nakamba. And Marvellous again gets the ball back to Lockyer. Lockyer through to Adebayo. And he's found Dramé on the right-hand side. Dramé has got Campbell running in the penalty area down the right-hand side, but he's overrun it, and it's gone behind for a goal kick. So 0-0 still, and we're in the 15th minute of the game. And it's played out to the right and then played on up towards Roberts, but Luton have possession back again.
If Luton got promoted, they'd have to do some work to their ground, wouldn't they?
Amari Bell lays it off to Doughty, back to Lockyer, inside the Luton half. He'll play it across to Osho, former Reading defender. He's been sent off twice this season. Plays it long down the left. Hume heads it down to Roberts. Roberts hooks it inside, but it's won back by Bell here now for Luton. Leaves it for Morris, back heel to Bell. Bell's still going, and O'Nien manages to put him off, and he puts his ball high over the bar. Good strength from Amari Bell, but Luke O'Nien in the end stronger. And a goal kick to Sunderland in the 16th minute now. Centre-backs flanking Patterson as he takes this kick.
Is it not Fredericks, no?
Roberts, but it's been cleared.
Frankie Fredericks
for Sunderland. Hume just waiting for the ball. Mark Venus in the just outside the technical area now is instructing some movement from his players.
I've got my cat Sweet watching the game with me here, the black and white cat on this one.
It's Roberts, though it is that Hume sort of rather lackadaisically tries to swing the ball forwards. It fortunately comes back to Roberts, to Neil, and now O'Nien, and out wide on the left-hand side to Clark, who's taken on Dramé. Clark takes him on, and Clark now, he's trying to get in onto the goal line. Should he have passed it back sooner? He's pulled it back to Dan Neil. Oh, off the angle.
Tell you what.
Oh,
from Dan Neil.
Excellent strike by Dan Neil.
Look at the top corner.
Yeah, the goalkeeper became a spectator there. He just had to admire that effort. And crashing back off the post. Excellent effort.
So still 0-0.
Yeah, he's called Sweep.
Nearly an opening goal. And it's a goal kick to Luton Town. All the players towards this near side here. As Horfath in a sort of very dark grey goalkeeping kit finds the head of Mishu, drops for Morris, out to Doughty, and the touchline back inside to Morris, and
who's asking that? Like
forced wide by Dan Neil, and then Adebayo crashes in to Mishu, who gets the ball to Roberts.
I'm actually having turkey liver today for tea.
Roberts and Tony Mowbray both furious, don't understand the decision.
I used to have a cat called Sweep.
But free kick it is to Luton
Turkey
Town.
liver, yeah.
Doughty plays it back to Lockyer, and he plays it across the centre circle to Osho. Osho now taps it to his right. Dramé running back into.
And I had fish tails for breakfast this morning.
Plays it back to Lockyer, and Lockyer in the middle of the Luton half drives it forwards for Adebayo, who's fouled Ballard at the edge of the penalty area as the ball dropped to him.
Fish tails, full of protein.
O'Nien pushes it on to Barr. Barr now in the middle of his own half. A short pass back to Neil, who plays it across to Ballard. And Ballard forwards to Roberts. Inside, it's one
away again.
It's played straight to Marvellous Nakamba.
They used to have
cut out though his pass by O'Nien, but straight to Osho. And Osho down the right-hand side drives the ball up towards Morris. Comes off for O'Nien to defend, finds Clark, blocked by Osho, who still has possession inside to Marvellous Nakamba, and then Osho again to Campbell, down the right to Drame. Drame's cross, looking for Adebayo, headed to clear by Ballard. Barr heads it on, it's come back up towards the halfway line. Gelhardt goes to close him down, Marvellous gets it to Amari Bell, forwards to Adebayo. Challenged by Mishu, ball goes out, throw to Luton.
Do you think it'd be a pretty disappointing season if Norwich City didn't go up?
We've got to stop the service coming into the box as well. I think it's coming in far too easily for my liking from Luton.
Doughty with another short throw to
They won't
Bell.
go. I still think it'll be
Bell,
Luton Town that'll
back to
go through the
Doughty.
playoffs. I think Luton will win the playoffs.
Lockyer inside.
Remember where I said it.
Half. He swings the ball across the pitch, looking for Drame, who gets his head
Pretty
on it.
good, Doug.
To Campbell. And Campbell trying to shake off Neil. Ball goes out for a throw to Sunderland.
I knew it would give with an F.
Blackpool 0, Coventry 1. We're nearly 20 minutes into the game. Sunderland 0, Luton Town 0. Here at the Stadium of Light, live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Throw to Sunderland again on the far side. Luke O'Nien poised to take this. He's looking for some support. He gets it from Barr. Back to O'Nien. And then it's come back to Patterson by a couple of ricochets. He rolls the ball out here on the right-hand side now to Ballard. And he plays it out wide to Roberts. Back inside to Mishu. Back to Ballard on the right. Forwards looking for Roberts. It's Hume. It's swept past Hume. Comes back to Lockyer. And back to the goalkeeper, Horvath. And he has the ball on the penalty spot and kicks this through the middle. Ballard has his eye on it.
To 41 on the chat, only 16 likes. If you can hit that thumbs up, thank you very much. And if you're new, click the subscribe button. Tar. Christmas card on the way for you if you do.
Towards the halfway line. Inside to Neil. Back to Bart. And Bart again out to O'Nien on the far side.
The pitmen.
Looking for the run of Barr. It's cut out by Osho, and it's a throw to Sunderland halfway inside the Luton Town half. Back to O'Nien. Now Neil on halfway, picked up by Mishu again, then to O'Nien. Down the line.
Where does the Black Cats actually come from then?
Back into his own half, where it's played by Hume in the middle to Ballard. And then out wide to Roberts. Quick ball to Gelhardt. Back to Roberts.
Where does
through, he's looking, well, down went Mishu.
Where does it come from though, the Black Cats?
Play carries on here. Gelhardt down the right of the penalty area. Pulls it back behind him to Neil. He's tackled. It's loose though, and Gelhardt gets it inside here to Roberts. Roberts plays it inside at the edge of the area to Gelhardt. Tried a shot. It's blocked. There's too many players around him. And now it's in the area with Mishu. Down to the goal line. Tries to pull it back. Too many Luton shirts in the penalty area. Comes out to Ballard. Ballard, down went Adebayo, no foul. To the corner of the penalty area.
So far, the referee's not been too bad.
He plays it back to Roberts. Roberts, Adebayo trying to get the ball off him. And a block in front of him by Doughty. And eventually it's out for a throw to Luton. Middlesbrough 1, Preston 0. So a throw here, which Bell's going to take for Luton Town. We're halfway through the first half, and it sort of felt like it's gone slowly. It really hasn't come alive yet, has it?
No, not at all.
It's more like a game of chess, this. It's Sunderland really just trying to poke and...
Someone on watch somewhere in Sunderland like a century ago thought you heard a crying baby at night and found a black cat. Apparently that's where the Black Cats came from.
Campbell, Drame's got forwards, he's taken on O'Nien. He got a little bit caught under his feet into the penalty area and off O'Nien for the first corner of the game. Over on the far side.
And that's what happens, you know, you're trying to be clever in the middle of the park, you lose the ball, then all of a sudden they just attack our back two. And like you've just mentioned, you know, it just seems as though it's like an end of season game.
Yeah, it needs a spark. Corner from the right-hand side, driven in. Berry's header across the 6-yard box. Ballard heads it out. Put back in again by marvellous Nakamba. And out it comes to Barr. He leaves it for Mishu. But there's nobody up there, and it's going to come back to Bell. And he'll play it back to the goalkeeper.
You don't want to start springing in.
Would you like to stick with Tony Mowbray for next season then?
That's the fear, isn't it? And especially bearing in mind Luton's record.
Yeah.
Of those 1-0s. And here is Doughty in space. Down the left of the penalty area. Bart's come to cut cover. In the end, it's smashed behind by Hume. It's another corner.
You need a wake. You know, we said this on Wednesday. We need a wake-up call.
Berry was on the shoulder of Hume. He had to put it behind. This corner from the left at the north end. Doughty will take this.
Is he not in? Not in.
One man back up in the centre circle, Amari Bell. But Doughty then from the left-hand side, this second Luton corner, in towards the penalty spot. It's come down for Roberts to play out to Barr, who's on his own here down the right. He's got a lot to do on his own. Roberts inside of him. He's got 3 players on the far side. A sweep at the ball by Drame. It's dropped for Clark in the penalty area, but he's going to find it difficult to get through here. He's trying to play it through. There's a question over a handball asked, but dismissed.
Once again, Jack Clark fannying about on the ball.
To the goalkeeper.
Great opportunity there, Nick, but I think the one thing which stood out there, you've got to have belief. You've got to have belief. You know, we've just gone and just been hopeful.
So like a lack of self-confidence then, wasn't there? And just pull the trigger. But 0-0. And the goalkeeper, Ethan Horvath, has it just outside the...
What's the weather like where you guys are?
Down towards the left.
What's the weather like where you lot are?
Ballard heads it out for a throw to Luton, just a few yards down from Tony Mowbray. Doughty will take the throw. Alfie Doughty, former Stoke and Charlton midfielder, comes off Berry for Neil through to Barr.
It's not right though when you think about those.
It comes though to Dan Neil, and Neil now in the centre circle plays it to Gelhardt. He's given the ball away. He's trying to win it back, but Doughty's got it back to Lockyer.
Probably so the clubs would have been as well, so we could be just in the same position where we are, because it would benefit a lot of teams as well, not just us, wouldn't it?
And Drame back to Osho, Lockyer, and out to Bell on this left-hand side.
Sonny here in Devon.
Bell forwards, Berry back to Bell, show too much of it to Barr, through to Gelhardt. Gelhardt now is surrounded by Luton players, and Berry puts the ball out off of Gelhardt for a throw to Luton. Gelhardt recovers.
I'd still rather have VAR. I mean, people slag it off, but I think it's needed.
Out there, Nick, is options. Where's the options?
Up to Adebayo, gets the ball back again in front of Ballard. Ballard gets a foot to it. Throw to Luton down the left-hand side.
Very cold, Andrew.
Doughty will take this.
Reading
for Luton. Alfie Doughty halfway inside the Sunderland half, over Morris, cleared. Reading 0, Hull 1. Campbell heading it on, looking for Adebayo.
Clear sky, but 8 degrees here. Ooh, that's cold.
And then it's won again by Morris. Played behind him to marvellous Nakamba. Up through the penalty area it goes, and behind for a goal kick to Sunderland.
We just need something different, Nick. Seriously. You know, either change the shape of the team, you know, maybe give Gelda a little bit more support up there.
And he's got, well, nobody, is he? Because he's got Clark wide out on the left-hand side.
Clark's playing wide, Roberts is playing wide. Barr is the one who's supposed to be supporting Gelda, but I think he needs somebody to play alongside him.
Would we be in the playoffs, you think, if we still had Stewart and Sims?
Patterson with this drives it to the right, and up goes Berry ahead of Mishu. Ballard battles with Morris. It's a throw to Luton. again halfway inside the Sunderland half.
That's in Durham.
Luton are happy just to stroll about at the moment.
Oh, we've got to give the supporters something to get them off the seat.
Doughty with a throw then again. Berry, close support. Morris makes a move, gets some space, gets the ball out though for a throw to Sunderland this time.
Zardi played.
Hume will take this. Back to Ballard. Just chests it down and then taps it back to Hume, back to Ballard. Left-footed, driving it up through the middle. Barb gets his head on it. Drops to Bell. Looking for Adebayo. He's tackled by O'Nien. It's to Michu. Out to Clark. Barr's made a run down the left. Clark forced back. And still under pressure. It's stabbed back to Barr, who swings it down the right wing. Looking for Roberts, headed away by Bell. Up to Berry, or Doughty on the left. And he's looking for Morris, headed away by Ballard. And then picked up by Marvellous Nakamba. Left for Campbell. Campbell now for Adebayo. And Adebayo is whipped off his feet by Clark for Barr. And Barr now, well, he's on his own against 4 or 5 defenders. Then he's tripped, no, says the referee. Luton have the ball with Osho.
Foul or no? Sorry, Nick. Foul or no foul? Who was with him?
Nobody. It was 1 against 5.
Look at the winger.
It's an impossible situation. And Doughty now gets the ball to Dramé. Dramé on the right-hand side. He crosses, looking for Adebayo, headed away by Barr, out to Dan Neal. He's under pressure from Campbell.
Do you think it could be in the clause that Gelhardt has to play every game whilst he's on loan?
He's gone behind for a goal kick. The frustration at the referee. Here's
look where we all are. Look where every Sunderland player are in their own half. Look.
Yeah, there's nobody. There's no outlet here. As Dramé tries to get down the right, wins a throw from Luke O'Nien.
Every Sunderland player is in this half when we've got the ball.
Dramé will take the throw for Luton. We're in the 31st minute.
I think Stoke will snatch a win against Norwich.
Cody Dramé. Maloney waiting, looking for movement, finds Morris at the corner of the penalty area. It's poked away by Clark. It's another throw to Luton Town on the far side. Their next game actually is against Watford, their local rivals. Watford really took them apart earlier in the season, but Rob Edwards, I suspect, has got an agenda now going back, or it's at home against Watford. As the ball bounces up for Michu to try and engineer something, but it's headed out by Osho on halfway. On the left-hand side, Clark come forwards to lead the throw, is he? For Luke O'Nien to
Sunderland played when we played Middlesbrough. We quite dominated them from the off.
Dan Neal back to
went
O'Nien.
down to 10 men, but it was still a good performance.
O'Nien trying to get past Campbell, and Campbell held on, and O'Nien plays it back to Neal. Back again to Bart in his own half here, and he rolls it across to Ballard. Ballard down the line to Roberts, inside to Hume. Well, Luton win it back, but then Hume wins it back after a challenge by Roberts. Hume back to Ballard, forwards to Neal. Neal on the right side of his own midfield, looks to play it to Barr. Now Barr's got Clark ahead of him down the left. He's got Gelhardt in the middle, looking for the run though here of Michu. Brought it down round behind him. He's pulled it back now to Roberts. Roberts in the penalty area. Left foot blocked by Bell and picked up by Doughty on the left here, and tapped back inside to Lockyer. And despite being closed down by Gelhardt, who makes a challenge, Lockyer manages to skip around Roberts and come away with the ball.
Many years ago, Morris, a soldier in his batteries heard a wailing of a black cat, and 74 years later, FC adopted the name from them.
Brentford won Leicester nil in the Premier League. As it drops for Berry, won by Neal, cleared by O'Nien. It could open up
get the whole goal.
Left wing. Just keeps it in. The flag's up there on the far side. It's gone out. Throw to Luton. Clark kicks the ball away. Ball boy retrieves it. This throw halfway.
It's been a very carpet slippers and pipe type game, hasn't it?
Right hand side. 33 minutes played.
You can have the match Yeah, you can have the match on at the background and just have a good old natter on.
So, Drame with the throw into the middle to Lockyer. Tom Lockyer through to Marvellous Nakamba. Takes it up over. In fact, it's Amari Bell who took up the baton, but now he's lost it. It's with Gelhardt. Gelhardt out to Roberts. Roberts trying to shake off Lockyer, trying to get round him on the right wing. Then he's tripped, does he? No, says the referee. In fact, is he given the free kick? He's had a think about it and says yes, it was a foul.
You've got the assistant who is standing basically 10 yards away and doesn't flag. What's he waiting for?
It took Scott Oldham a few seconds to make his mind up, but it's a free kick. Roberts here wide on the right.
Yeah, it's a swipe on
Jack Clark. Clark takes the ball off him.
It's a swipe on the back of his feet, isn't it?
On the floor. Clark will take the free kick. Roberts strolls away down the right. 0-0. The 35th
Could have been worse. Could have been a Screeching Magpie. Oh no.
Jack Clark wide on this right hand side. The Luton line on the 18-yard line, and it's swung into the penalty area, through the penalty area, over on the far side, picked up by Barr. He's taken on Adebayo, and then into the penalty area goes. It was left by Hume, and the ball swept in again by Clark, but cleared, and out it comes to Barr, and Campbell loses it. Hume trying to get it through, but Drame would eventually played out wide to Roberts.
One shot on goal
Roberts
each, apparently.
Taking this on down the right, crosses, looking for the head of Hume, but it's been knocked behind. It's a corner.
That's a great ball in by Roberts.
Blackpool 1, Coventry 1. So this corner, Sunderland's first, on the left. Clark is going to take this at the Roker end, and with his right swings this in here, and it's headed away by Osho, I think, or Bell, and it's picked up by Marvellous Nakamba. He's looking for some support.
Clear to the referee's whistle, man.
Challenge by Lockyer.
You've got to keep getting told off to stop yawning.
He's got to book him. He's got to tell him off.
Lockyer's going to get
a red card here.
A yellow for the foul on Danny Barr. Who is it?
I've got to stop yawning.
Is it Luke O'Neill?
Yeah, it's Luke O'Neill, isn't it? Lockyer shown the yellow card for that. So in the 37th minute.
And that's what Dan Neal is saying to the court official there.
How are lads? One before half time, says Jennifer.
Ball, wasn't it? I mean,
yeah.
Are you happy so far with the 36 minutes gone?
9 went down. That's Neil's just said
to
the referee that he used his elbow, he used his arm.
I thought he was going to get. He's going for his red.
But a yellow it was, and a free kick, and back it comes from Neil to Ballard, to Neil again, and back to Ballard. Ballard into the middle, across to Luke O'Neill, with O'Neill down the left wing to Clark. Clark back into the middle here to Gelhardt. Gelhardt back behind him. In the middle is Hume, in the centre circle of Ballard, and then out wide to Roberts. Back behind him, Neil, and then Ballard. This in the Sunderland half, into the centre circle. Then he taps it back to Danny Barr, and across here to Hume again on this right hand side, and he slips trying to get it to Roberts. Then it's put out for a throw to Sunderland in front of Tony Mowbray. There's 0-0, and it's hard to really try and put any sort of pattern on this game, because it's just, as you said, it feels like a bit like an end of season game. It's nothing, there's no real urgency from Luton. And here's Clark on the far side. I mean, Sunderland are working hard to try and find an opening, but it's just not happening for them. Osho plays it back away from Barr to the goalkeeper. Up to the halfway line. O'Neill nods it down. Adebayo gets it back behind him to Drame. Inside to Nakamba. And back behind to Osho. And Osho plays it through to Campbell on the halfway line on the right-hand side. He's got Drame wide. Drame now trying to cut inside. Just taps it into Campbell. Campbell under pressure. Fouled by Luke O'Neill. Quick free kick, which leaves the back door open down the right-hand side for Drame to try and cross. But a block by Bart and a throw to Luton Town. On the right. Drame recovers the ball.
Concentrate here on this set piece.
Could be a long throw from Cody Drame. Step back towards the advertising board.
You're happy at the minute, Packer?
Throw into the penalty area, looking for Morris.
Got half-time snacks ready for us.
And it's played across the 6-yard box, drops for Berry, and eventually the ball has gone out, the flag is up, it's a goal kick.
And the referee give that? Not the linesman?
No, the linesman did have his flag up.
It did in the end. He went out first time.
So, goal kick it is. 6 minutes till half time, and the kick from Patterson's a poor one, straight out.
Let's get to half timer so he can settle him down.
Osho at the back for Luton. Drives the ball diagonally across to the left, looking for Adebayo. Hume gets above him, drops in the middle for Campbell. He lays it off now to Bell. Bell cuts back inside again and trying to shake off Mishu and Gelhart, still going.
Jacob, are you going to the last game of the season or not?
But it's cut out by
it's near
Hume,
you, isn't it?
And then a touch by Bell takes it out for a throw to Sunderland. Deep in the Sunderland half on the right-hand side. Hume will take the throw. He's waving a bit, and then across comes Dan Neal, drops for Neal, who taps it down the line again. Hume trying to get on the end of it, but Berry hooks it back down the line, forwards to Adebayo, who gives the ball away to Roberts, to Hume, to Gelhart. Well, he's beaten to it in the end by Marvellous, and then it's Adebayo. He's tackled well by Hume at the edge of the penalty area. Ballard now out on the right, crashes off Adebayo for a throw to Sunderland. It's just yards from the corner on the right. Hume will take it. Ballard in support. Mishu strolling back. And now Roberts comes back as well. Roberts gets the ball and drives us up into the centre looking for Barr. It's just bounced past him and headed down by Drame to Nakamba and through to Morris. And Morris on the shoulder of Barr.
I just said, will Jacob be going to the last game of the season because it's near him?
Doughty is getting into the penalty area on the left, and a block made by Hume.
Yeah.
It's a throw to Luton on the left. 0-0 still. A few minutes until
I think
half time.
Jacob's vanished, isn't he?
One thing's for sure, there won't be much added on, will there?
You're hoping not.
Throw which Doughty's going to take. I suspect it's going to be, I thought long, but it's gone short again. Doughty gets it back to Bell. And he's trying to find an opening.
What do you mean postpone? You mean you're going to go to some of the games?
Bell gets it on his left, and it's blocked by Hume. It's a throw to Luton. Doughty then again with the throw for the visitors in their black shirts. And Doughty looking for, is it going to be Bell or is it going to be longer into the penalty area? It's into the penalty area, and it's come off Morris behind for a goal kick. 43rd minute. Patterson taps the ball to Ballard. And Ballard drives it up looking for Gelhart. It's bounced past him and through to Osho and on back to the goalkeeper. Comes out to the edge of his penalty area. He's being closed down by Clark to a degree, but it gets the kick right up through to Morris, trying to get it to Adebayo, takes it down the left of the penalty area, plays it back behind him to Morris. Morris's ball into the box for Berry. He's looking for a handball. He's not going to get it. Comes out to Osho, and now picked up by Nakamba, and plays it to Doughty, and he's swept past Adebayo, and it'll roll behind for a goal kick at the corner. And a minute or so left of the 45.
You've got to say, this is a tired 45 minutes.
It is, and I guess Tony Mowbray are pleased as a clean sheet
yes,
in a minute.
He will be pleased to go in at half-time, 0-0. But they've got to do a bit more, haven't we?
You know, it's still, it's Reading 1-1. It's still got the hallmarks of a 1-0 all over it, hasn't it? If whoever scores, it's now Morris trying to, Berry trying to get it down to Doughty on the left-hand side. He's got Hume to get past. Hume sticking with him and
just didn't concede before half-time
for a Sunderland throw.
We just don't concede before half-time. I think we switched on.
30 seconds of the 45 left.
First goal's going to be big today, says Doug.
Hume waiting to take the throw. Ballard, Roberts, Michu, it's dropped for Roberts. Back to Hume, trying to find Gelhardt. Lockyer gets above him. And then Bell trying to cross, blocked again by Hume.
Is he hung like a horse, did you say?
15 seconds left to the 45. Fourth official, Stephen Martin, strolls out to the touchline. Doughty's got another throw here for Luton. Throw. Yeah, Bell strolled away, so this will be a long throw. That's the 45 minutes played. Doughty then with the throw for Luton into the penalty area. It's headed down by Morris, headed away. We'll have 1 minute. And the ball headed out by Neil. One back though, a marvellous, not so marvellous kick down towards the corner. Clark gathers. Campbell goes to close him down. Southampton 0, Tottenham 1. And out towards the right.
Has Jacob vanished?
On the left for Sunderland. It's a throw to Sunderland. Dan Neil strolls away. I mean, the body language of the players is just knackered. They're just strolling about. The energy just seems to have sapped out of them, doesn't it? We've nearly played the minute. Throw down the line from O'Nien. Drops for Campbell, it's headed on, then it's just lashed forwards by Clark, headed away by Bell. There's the half-time whistle. Well, 0-0.
That's it. That's half-time.
Neil hit the woodwork. Neither keepers really had anything to do. It's been played more like a game of chess by both teams, with not a huge amount of energy expended.
Well, you know, we talk about creativity, you know, opportunities, you know, you just mentioned there, both keepers have hardly had anything to do. There's not been much, well, there's been hardly any.
Tottenham's just scored against Southampton, who I think are going down.
At times, Sunderland have struggled because they haven't got that outlet.
Yeah, I think it's got 0-0 all over this one.
What do you think Tony Mowbray will do second half? Again, he hasn't got a huge amount of options,
no, but you've got Diallo who's on the bench who might give us something different. You know, again, you know, the partnership between him and Roberts hopefully might be able to create a little bit more, shall we say, tempo, energy, creativity, because that's what we need at the present moment. And, you know, we don't want to keep playing the way we are and then all of a sudden Luton score from a set piece or a breakaway and then all of a sudden we wake up.
Yeah, that's the
I'm still here.
Half time then, the second half to come on BBC Radio Newcastle and SAFC.com. At the break, it is Sunderland.
Very lucky. The warm-up was more exciting.
You've lost yourself.
It's definitely got end of season feel to this game. Dull as a dishwasher. It feels more like a friendly England international than anything else.
Download the BBC Sounds app and you'll never miss another moment. With the tap of
to
a
be
button,
expected, but a slightly better performance needed in the second half. These guys are beatable.
Rewind to listen again and again.
Nice to see Clark passing the ball a little bit more.
Play, pause and rewind. BBC
Once
Radio
again,
Newcastle
we are still lacking
control.
that striker.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Total Sport.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
If you are still awake, it is Sunderland 0, Luton Town 0 at the Stadium of Light. We'll be back with Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett in about 10 minutes' time for full commentary of hopefully a better second half. Elsewhere around the country then, at half-time, starting the Premier League, 4 games at 3 o'clock, 1 game later on. Bournemouth are 1-0 down at Aston Villa. Douglas Luiz scoring after 7 minutes for the home side. Brentford also 1-0 up at home. They are playing Leicester City. Matthias Jensen giving them the lead after half an hour. Spurs have scored on the stroke of half-time to be leading 1-0 away at Southampton. Pedro Porro after 45 minutes there. And Leeds United are also 1-0 up away from home. Jack Harrison scoring after just 6 minutes as they are 1-0 up at Wolves. The 5:30 kickoff in the Premier League is Chelsea against Everton.
Get the latest team news, score updates and post-match reaction on Twitter at BBC Newcastle.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Only 8 games in the Championship, and that limited pool of fixtures in the Premier League because it is FA Cup quarter-final weekend as well, but a decent number of goals in the first halves in the Championship. Coventry now lead 2-1 at Blackpool. Ben Sheaf gave them the lead after 20 minutes. A Jerry Yates penalty was the equaliser for Blackpool 15 minutes later, but a Curtis Nelson own goal on the stroke of half-time means it is Blackpool 1, Coventry City 2. Chuba Akpom has scored yet again for Middlesbrough. They are 1-0 up at home to Preston at the break. No goals between Millwall and Huddersfield. Birmingham scored the first goal of the afternoon in the Championship. Tahith Chong has put them 1-0 up at Queen's Park Rangers. That's the only goal of the first 45 minutes there. Reading 1, Hull City 1. Regan Slater with the opener for Hull City. Andy Carroll equalising for Reading just a minute or so before half-time. Cardiff are 1-0 up away at Rotherham thanks to Jayden Philogene-Bidis after 5 minutes. Stoke against Norwich is goalless, and Watford are 1-0 up on Wigan Athletic thanks to Keenan Davis.
The Newcastle United and Sunderland AFC podcast.
Subscribe on BBC Sounds.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Into Leagues 1 and 2 then. In the early kick-off in League 1, Peterborough United won 3-0 away at Lincoln. At half-time in all the other games, MK Dons 1-0 up at Accrington Stanley thanks to Silly Kai. Colby Bishop has given Portsmouth a 1-0 lead at Bristol Rovers. Charlton are 2-0 up away at Cambridge United. Cheltenham 1, Exeter City 0. Fleetwood Town winning 2-0 at Derby at half-time. Who'd have seen that one coming? A Wildsmith own goal and then Mendes Gomez. So Derby 0, Fleetwood 2 at the break. Ipswich 1, Shrewsbury 0. Oxford United winning 1-0 away at Morecambe. Plymouth scored early on and are 1-0 up at home to Forest Green Rovers. 2 goals in the first 10 minutes. Port Vale 1, Burton Albion 1, and it's goalless in the final game in League 1. Wickham Wanderers 0, Barnsley 0. At 4 goals in the early kick-off in League 2, and Hartlepool United came back. Led twice and conceded twice and drew 2-2 at Bradford City. Andy Cook scored both of Bradford's goals. Cook and Kemp had given Hartlepool the lead twice. In the 3 o'clock kickoffs in League 2, Crawley 1-0 up away at AFC Wimbledon. Carlisle United flying, drawing 0-0 though at home to Stevenage at half-time. Harrogate and Barrow is goalless. Leyton Orient are 1-0 up on Colchester United, a Moncur penalty. Northampton 1, Crewe Alexandra 0. Rochdale 2, Swindon Town 2. Swindon were 2-0 up after 14 minutes. Charlie Austin scoring both of those goals, but Rochdale have got themselves right back in it. Salford City 2, Doncaster Rovers 1. Paddy Madden has given Stockport County a 1-0.
Back in a second, guys. I'm just getting some beef and little noodles.
Newport County are 2-0 up away at Tranmere Rovers, and it's goalless in the final game in League 2, which is Walsall against Gillingham.
Total Sport.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Into non-league then, Gateshead, who have an FA Trophy semi-final next weekend to look forward to, currently drawing 0-0 at home to Torquay United in National League this afternoon. A big relegation battle. That one, Blythe Spartans, who we mentioned, won 1-0 at Brackley 11 months ago to get themselves out of relegation trouble, are doing the same again. Nicky Deverdix after 19 minutes means it is Brackley Town 0, Blythe Spartans 1 at half-time. In the Northern Premier League, South Shields taking on one of their promotion rivals in Hyde United and drawing 0-0 at half-time away from home. Our featured non-league game of the day, though, is in the same division but at the other end of the table at Craig Park. Morpeth taking on Stalybridge Celtic. Plenty of action for our non-league reporter Paul Dixon, who can bring us right up to speed.
Well, it's not great news, Colin. It's Morpeth 0, Stalybridge Celtic 1. And it was Stalybridge Celtic who went ahead on 8 minutes, and what a bizarre goal it really was. Michael Turner, the centre-back for Morpeth, back past the goalkeeper Dan Lowson. The keeper failed to control the ball and it went under his foot and just over the line. Not the best of starts for Morpeth. And then on 16 minutes, Stalybridge could have went ahead. Damian Rouse header just past the post from a corner by Bailey Jones. It was a real good effort. And then there was a shout for 2 penalties. Ryan Donaldson and Ben Sears looked as though they were fouled in the box. The referee was having absolutely none of it. And then just a minute before half-time, Stalybridge Celtic went down to 10 men. Bailey Jones, a bad foul on Morpeth captain Ben Sears. The referee had no hesitation and sent him off. It's 1-0 to Stalybridge, but Morpeth very much still in this game. Stalybridge down to 10 men. Morpeth 0, Stalybridge Celtic 1.
Paul, thank you very much. I was getting overly excited about Gateshead's FA Trophy semi-final. It's not next weekend, it's the weekend after. In the Northern Premier League East Division, Consitor 1-0 up on Offset United at half-time. Scott Fenwick scoring midway through the first half. Dunstan's game at home to Grantham Town postponed because of a waterlogged pitch. Hebburn in second at the start of the day, 2-0 down at Long Eaton United at half-time. North Shields drawing 0-0 at home to Sheffield FC. In the Scottish Lowland League, Berwick Rangers through 2 goals from Liam Buchanan lead Cowdenbeath 2-0 away from home as well, looking to get themselves back to winning ways. We will have our local football roundup back to normal at 5:45.
We've got chatting this morning about the things you probably shouldn't do as an adult that you used to do as a kid.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Colin's on the line.
You know the paper flying saucers that you can still buy in the shops? A good few years ago now, my wife decided to pin us down on the floor and see how many she could force out my mouth, or said I had a big mouth, and we got up to about, I think it was 27, and I probably wouldn't risk it now because we've got responsibilities, but yeah.
Paula from Sunderland says, I love the idea of death by sherbet flying saucer. Paula, we can't encourage that at all, Paula.
The sound of the North East at breakfast. BBC Radio Newcastle, making a difference in the North East.
That sounds like the kind of thing people might have been doing in the first half of Sunderland Luton just to give themselves some entertainment, because there wasn't much on the pitch. Goalless at half-time, back with Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett in about 5 minutes' time for full commentary of the second half. But our commentary weekend on BBC Radio Newcastle began last night. Newcastle United left it very late to beat Nottingham Forest at the City Ground.
Willock's cross in, Isak with a header, it's gone behind. Referee says penalty! Penalty kick for Newcastle in added on time. So it looked like Trippier, but now it will be Isak who scored the equaliser. And Newcastle's record signing in front of the away fans at the City Ground. Alexander Isak has scored what could be the winner. It's 2-1 in added on time.
And it was the winner. He scored both goals last night, in fact, as the Magpies won 2-1 away at Nottingham Forest to move to within a point of Spurs in fourth at the time. Spurs currently 1-0 up away at Southampton at half-time in their game, which would increase the gap to 4 points again. But afterwards, last night, the match-winning Swede had a chat with our Newcastle United commentator, Matthew Racebeck.
Alex, you've scored another couple of goals and the winner from the penalty spot. Were you nervous at the end with that penalty? You didn't look it.
To be fair, no, because I know, you know, when you scored a goal already, it gives you a bit of a boost. I think every striker knows that. So I felt quite calm and collected. Obviously, it's a moment of pressure, so I'm not gonna lie about that. But yeah, I felt quite confident taking that penalty.
You scored a penalty against Bournemouth earlier in the season, but it looked tonight as though Kieran Trippier was going to take it. Was it always the plan for you to be the penalty taker?
Yeah. I was going to take it, just wander around with the ball. So.
What about your first goal? Because that looked like a very difficult finish. Ball was behind you and you were almost off balance, I think.
Yeah, I don't think you guys have seen it, but I think I've done it a few times in training. But yeah, I mean, I didn't really have much time to think. Ball came a bit behind me, so you know, I just stretched out my leg, tried to hit it volley.
How important is that win for you? Because it takes you a point behind Spurs, who are in the final Champions League place.
No, very important. Not only if you look at the table, but also, you know, going into a break now, so we all can go with a good feeling and feel like we're back on track and back at it. So I think, yeah, these last 2 games have been massively important for us, and yeah, now we have to go away, clear our heads, and hopefully come back at the same level.
He's got 2 games for Sweden, or at least he's in the Sweden squad for 2 matches between now and Newcastle United's next game. That was Alexander Isak there speaking to Matthew Raisbeck. That full interview and one with Eddie Howe as well, available to listen to on BBC Sounds. You can find it via the BBC Newcastle Twitter feed. So yes, a fortnight off for Newcastle before Manchester United, their vanquishers, if that's a word, in the League Cup final, come to St James's Park on the 2nd of April. Other local fixtures then this weekend. Southampton against Durham and Sunderland against Sheffield United are the 2 Women's Championship fixtures. They both kick off at midday tomorrow. In the BBL Championship, this is basketball, last night, the men, Newcastle Eagles, losing by 3 points at home to the league leaders London Lions, and they had led for the majority of the game as well. They lost that lead with 3 minutes to go, had a chance to take it to overtime, couldn't quite do it. Javion Hamlet top scoring with 30 points. They're on the road tomorrow away at Manchester Giants at 5 o'clock. But tonight at the Arena, a WBBL Trophy semi-final. Newcastle Eagles at home to Leicester Riders, and the Eagles head coach Leah Cachero has been speaking to the BBC's Alistair Gill.
We're coming into this semi-final with almost a full roster, so we're feeling pretty confident. We deserve to be here. We've done the work to be here, and nobody has given us anything along the way. So I think the girls are going into this game knowing that we're playing an equal, and we'll see what happens in 40 minutes of play.
Leicester, one of the best teams in the league, right? So it's a tough ask, but I imagine with the form at the minute, you've got to have some confidence.
Well, looking at them, they come from a tough loss last weekend, so that's good to know, that's good to see, that they do crumble under pressure. The last 2 minutes they played, they showed that they are not comfortable playing close games. We have already proven that we are comfortable when we play close games at the very end. We have an experienced team, we have a lot of mature players that will take care of business at the end. So if we manage to get the game close in the last 2-3 minutes, I'm pretty confident that we can walk away with a win.
Fingers crossed they do tomorrow, this evening at the Arena. Currently, Newcastle Thunder in the Rugby League Championship, 18-0 down to London Broncos at home at half-time. Whitley Warriors are away to Sheffield Scimitars in Ice Hockey's North Division 1 tomorrow afternoon. And just briefly, it's the final weekend of the Six Nations. In the first match today, Scotland scored a terrific late try to earn a bonus point, 26-14 win over Italy. It was a lot closer than the scoreline suggests, though. France need to beat Wales by a big score to keep alive their hopes of winning the title. They're currently 34-7 up, so they're doing their bit. Ireland, though, regardless of what France do, have the opportunity to complete the Grand Slam. They play England in Dublin at 5 o'clock. But we are going back now to the Stadium of Light, goalless at half-time, so time to hand back to Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett.
Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett, MBE.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Luton Town have just emerged as a sort of collective for the second half, all coming out together, and now just going through a little warm-up through the cones down at the edge of the pitch. Just a little run and warm-up as we wait for Sunderland to emerge for the second half. Someone's just said this is like a pre-season game so far. We said end-of-season game, he says pre-season game, but pretty much the same sort of same thing, isn't it, really? In fairness, as we wait to see if any changes are going to be made at the break. I can't see there'll be any changes unless the deciders, the players, run out here to freshen things up right at the start. But Luke O'Nien walks out having a word with the referee in his ear as Sunderland take up their positions in the Roker end of the pitch. No changes. Patterson in goal, Hume, Ballard, Bart, O'Nien, Neil Michoud, Roberts, Barr, Clark and Gelhardt. The bench is Bass, Liagi, Bennett, Gooch, Ekwa, Ahmad and Pritchard. And no changes for Luton. Horvath in goal, back three of Osho, Lockyer and Bell, Drame, Nakamba, Berry, Doughty and Campbell the midfield with Adebayo and Morris up front. Sunderland to get the second half underway in their red and white stripes. Luton in their black shirts and white shorts as the second half starts. And here's Barr wide on the left, comes back through to Patterson and he passes it quickly to Ballard. Berry goes to close him down. Ballard's kick looking for Gelhardt. Oh, he's penalised. Down went Lockyer on Gelhardt's shoulder. Lockyer takes the free kick. It'll bounce away behind for a goal kick. There's a sort of air of lethargy about this, isn't there?
Well, I think the second night cannot be as bad as the first.
Just had a loving ham and peas pudding sandwich there.
At least you're writing something down.
But that's true. I mean, there's been very little to write down.
It's all right.
Neil hitting the woodwork. That's it. As we wait for this goal kick from Anthony Patterson away to the right, the Roker ending green, and he kicks up over halfway just. Headed on though by Doughty, comes back to. Oh no! Marvellous Nakamba smashed the ball forwards, but caught. I think it's Mishu, isn't it? Right in the face. He was in yards from Nakamba, and that must have hurt. He's bent double at the moment. Edouard Mishu. Referee is crouched down in front of him, and Mishu stands up and is trying to walk away here. Applause for the Frenchman. But you'd have felt that sting. It's going to be a drop ball here. The referee.
Mishu, would you say he's away at the end of the season?
Back from Horvath, the Luton goalkeeper, who's on loan from Nottingham Forest. He will drop it at the feet of Tom Lockyer in the Luton half. He drives it down the left wing, looking for Doughty. Across went Hume with him. It's a throw to Luton on the far side. Halfway inside the Sunderland half to Luke Berry. Back to Doughty, who lobs it into the penalty area, and Bart heads it out, and it will bounce in front of Bell, who heads it down the left but straight to Hume, and nods it on looking for Roberts, but one back by Luton again, and here's Bell trying to get it down to Doughty, inside to Morris, back out on the left wing, and then Bell again forwards to Berry, and his touch as he looked for the continued run of Bell, it didn't happen, and Sunderland get the ball clear, but Lockyer heads it up again, and then out again from Ballard. Barr trying to get on the end of it. Mishu picks it up, out to Roberts, and Roberts is looking for Barr's run. It was a good first time pass, and Barr trying to take this on down the right, but a good tackle by Bell. In fact, Osho, and it's a throw to Sunderland. Osho coming back across to this right-hand side of the three. Ahmad's warming up. And a throw for Sunderland just a few minutes into the second half, still 0-0. Drops to Hume, tried to get it forwards, but it's won back here by Luton. Luton now getting down that left-hand side, but Ballard steps in and gets the ball back to Patterson. Patterson at the edge of the area, driving it up through the centre, headed away from Gelhardt by Lockyer, but it drops the bar. Well, he's played an up and under. It's headed away by Campbell, straight to Dan Neil. A block by Nakamba. He's on loan from Aston Villa, the youngster, and he's trying to shake off Dan Neil, the Zimbabwean international. And then a trip by Campbell on Mishu. It's a free kick to Sunderland. This back inside the Sunderland half. O'Nien back to Bart. Patterson closed down by Adebayo, sidesteps him and plays it to Danny Bart. Bart bringing this out now into midfield.
Nothing.
To the left, O'Nien. Forwards, looking for Clark. Clark back to Luke O'Nien. Taps it into Dan Neil. Neil back to O'Nien. Closed down by Dramé. Gets the ball through in the middle to Dan Neil. Nearly. It was Hume trying to get on the end of it. It's Morris now coming through. Is Doughty. Doughty shoots, and it's parried by Patterson, and O'Nien will clear. Doughty will feel he should have done better. Good save by Patterson. Coming in the 50th minute. Wolves 0 leads 2.
Not going anywhere, Nick. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
They've got no outlet. You need something different.
So 0-0, free kick to Luton here on the right-hand side. Cody Dramé gathers the ball, going to pop it down right on the corner of the penalty area on the right-hand side. Doughty is going to take the free kick. Alfie Doughty.
He'll whip this in with his left foot. That's
two in the wall. The defensive line is 10 yards out. Doughty just passes it to Dramé, back to Doughty. Through the legs of Patterson. Through Patterson's legs, Luton lead 1-0. Neatly worked free kick by Luton Town, and it was driven in from the edge of the penalty area. And
yeah, Doughty. For a start, you know, you've got to be aware that Morris was standing on the edge of the box.
Yeah.
So he's standing there for a reason. You know, he's an out-and-out striker, but he's standing there for a reason. The ball's being played in. He just taps it back to Doughty. His ball is whipped in, and it's caught Patterson by surprise and squeezed through his legs.
So, in the 52nd minute, Luton Town have taken the lead. Gateshead 1, Torquay 0, but Patterson will be furious with himself. I mean, I guess he was unsighted, but Southampton won, Spurs won, but the Luton worked that, and they worked it well. And they lead 1-0. So now we have that scoreline that is perhaps forbidding, perhaps not, if Sunderland can find a way back into this match. They're trying to get down the right, but the ball's gone out, and it's a corner. Or is it? Yeah, it's a corner. From the right-hand side. Sunderland 0, Luton Town 1. I think Roberts is going to take this one. Curls in, and it's headed by Ballard down to great save by Horvath. O'Nien trying to drive it in, and Horvath managed to parry it, and it's come back to Dan Neil now on the halfway line, down the right wing. Well, that's certainly the spark that's ignited the game now, as Sunderland look to cross again here from the right, but it's cleared. Hume's cross put back in by Barr, and now it's bobbling about in the penalty area before it's headed out, picked up by Barr again, then Campbell, stabbed back by Barr. Gelhardt's trying to dig this out, but he can't. It drops for O'Nien. Oh, and somehow it's gone out off a defender for another corner. Brentford 1, Leicester 1. So Sunderland now trying to respond. So O'Nien's two opportunities, one saved, one deflected wide, and the corner on the left will be taken by Clark. Drives us in towards the far side of the 6-yard box, looking for Barr, but it comes out to Barr, and now Roberts on the right of the penalty area crosses. It's a poor cross. It's gone behind for a goal kick, and Ahmad's going to come on now for Sunderland. So the change being made.
And we spoke about that, Nick, in regards of, you know, if we go a goal down, then is that going to spring us into life?
Which it seemed to, didn't it then? And you were right, you know, that's what's happened.
But it's too late. Sometimes, you know, you think it's too late. We should have had that spring before.
So Ahmad on now then. I think Barr's frustrated, he's gone straight down the tunnel. Goal kick to Luton Town. Luton leading 1-0. We're live on BBC Radio Newcastle. As we've been reminding you before the game and through the game, the last 6 Luton wins have been 1-0, and they're in that position now. They've got something to defend.
Got something to hold on to.
Middlesbrough 2, Preston 0. Sheffield United, of course, involved in the FA Cup this weekend against Blackburn. And up to the halfway line. Clark trying to get forwards, but Lockyer gets the ball off him. And now, marvellous Nakamba. He's robbed by Mishu. through to Roberts, looking for Ahmad on that right-hand side. Ahmad taking on Bell, slips it into Roberts at the corner of the penalty area, but a touch from Nakamba, takes it out to Campbell on the left, and he drives it up over the halfway line, looking for Morris on the shoulder of Ballard, and Morris felt he was fouled. Ballard feels the same, so it's probably about right. It's a throw, and there's going to be a change for Luton as well. They're bringing on Jordan Clark, the midfielder.
Sorry, I just got on mute by mistake there. Sorry.
So both sides making changes now. Berry is coming off. Luke Berry. He's jogging off. We're in the 57th minute now, and not in a particular hurry. Walking off now. Dan Neil's arguing with Scott Oldham, the referee.
We've got a lot of work to do with our squad, like, a hell of a lot of work to do for next season.
On comes Clark, former Accrington Stanley midfielder, and a throw then for Sunderland. Over on the far side, halfway inside the Sunderland half. Hume's just looking for some movement, finally finds Michu, back to Hume, back again to Ballard, then back to Patterson. And it's Watford 1, Wigan 1. O'Nien passes out down the left to Clark. Inside to Neil, man on, but he stood his ground, he gets it forwards down the left to Clark being chased back by Dramé. He's got Osho to come past as well. Turns, goes down, no foul, and out comes Dramé with the ball. Gives it away to O'Nien, who gets a push in the back, but the ball's out for a throw to Luton. Tony Mowbray strolling about with his hands in his pockets in his technical area. Rob Edwards likewise strolling about in his technical area.
Their Luton manager looks like Michael Carrick.
Throw then down the right. Dramé headed away by Danny Barr, right back into the Luton half. Lockyer trying to get it away. Comes down to Dramé on the right, blocked by Clark. Another throw to Luton on the right. Halfway inside their own half. Dramé, throw back to Lockyer. Lockyer bringing this out through the middle for Luton Town. Up to the centre circle. Is passed down the left wing, cut out by Hume. Played inside to Michu. And Michu now bringing this up to the halfway line. Rolls it back to Danny Barr in the middle of his half. And out to Ballard. Ballard taking this on, but it's passed straight back through to Bell. One back by Ahmad, but then lost again. And it's Marvellous who's pushing it through now, looking for the run of Morris, but it's going to run through to Patterson. He gathers this and rolls it out to Michu. Adebayo on his shoulder, back to Patterson, out on the far side to Hume. And Hume closed down by Doughty, back inside to Neil, trying to get it up to Ahmad or Roberts, but it's one.
What do you think's been our reason why we're losing so many games?
The halfway line for Gelhardt, but Luton get the ball away, and Ballard heads it up again towards the halfway line. Gelhardt nodding it down, but straight into the path here of Luton down the right, and pushing it into the penalty area. Clark, but he's whipped off the ball by. Has the ball whipped off him by O'Nien, up to Clark, inside to Gelhardt. He's lost it though, he's having to battle back for it, and eventually it's gone out for a throw to Sunderland, which is left to O'Nien. Gets it down the line to Clark. Clark's got round Osho. Osho chasing him. Osho on the back of Clark. Clark in the penalty area, and eventually Lockyer slides in and knocks it behind for a corner. There was a lot for Clark to do. He persevered, but he's won the corner, Clark, on this left-hand side. Luton leading 1-0. We played an hour.
He's bad touch there, like just let the ball run away from him.
Neil's the one man back at the edge of the centre circle. Two outside the box. Ahmad and Michu. The ball swept into the hands of the goalkeeper.
I don't think we would score if they were down to fucking 5 men.
waiting for everybody to get back upfield. Happy to hold it. Ethan Horvath at the moment throws the ball down. The players drifting towards the far side. And the kick down the left. Ballard on the shoulder of Morris, headed on by Doughty to Adebayo, back to Alfie Doughty and back again to Bell. And inside to Nakamba, who taps it back to Bell, back again to Lockyer, inside the Luton half. And he plays it on again here to Doughty, trying to flick it through to Adebayo. Adebayo down the left touchline, taking on Bart, trying to get round him. Pulls it back into the midfield. Nakamba behind Drame on this right hand side.
Someone's asking on chat who's fourth
steps
at the
back
minute
away
in the
from
league.
Clark, gets back inside and gets away from Clark and lays the ball off now to Bell.
There we go, Luton Town
Bell has
off.
Ahmad in front of him. Plays
That's,
it back
I think
into
Luton will get promoted through
just
the playoffs.
inside the Sunderland half, but he plays it back to Lockyer. Lockyer to Bell. Closed down by
Preston
Roberts.
really getting a bad.
Middlesbrough 3, Preston 0. Here's Nakamba down the left, back inside again to Adebayo. Out again to Doughty, but one back here by Roberts. And he skips swaying back to Bart and back to Patterson. Out to O'Nien. O'Nien bringing this forwards down the left-hand side, up to the halfway line. Gelhardt back to O'Nien on the left. O'Nien inside now to Dan Neal.
Exactly, Doug.
Closed
Feel
down
for
by
these season
Campbell.
ticket holders with
Pushes
these
it back to
performances.
Dan Ballard. And then Ballard pauses for a moment before playing it inside to Neal, then back out to Ballard. And Ballard
I reckon
forwards
there's only
to
about
Ahmad
27,000
on halfway,
today.
forced back into his own half, trying to find an opening, trying to take this on through the middle. He skips around, shakes off two, gets the ball to O'Nien on the left here, into the middle, Gelhardt. He plays it back to Michoud. Michoud now looking to try and find an opening, but Clark's in front of him. He plays it back to Neal, and now to Hume. Hume has Roberts on the touchline. Back to Hume behind him, and Hume inside to Ahmad. Ahmad back to Ballard at the right of the centre circle.
I don't even know where he is on the pitch.
Ballard,
He's
short
non-existent.
pass forwards to Michoud. Wolves 0, leads 3.
It's Captain Camouflage.
Ballard to Dan Neal. He takes it on and leaves it for
He's hoping to
Roberts
score an own
wide
goal,
on
'cause
that
that's the
far
only thing he can
side.
score.
And now Roberts has got Hume inside, but now was that a push on Ahmad? It was, says the referee, by Bell. It's a free kick to Sunderland on the right-hand side of
Yes,
midfield,
Ola, thank you.
halfway
To be
inside
honest,
the Luton
Sunderland
half.
are doing amazing for coming up last season.
Oh, they went to take it quickly.
Well, look how Luton are doing. I mean, they're flying
Referee's
up.
pulled it back. Roberts will have to try again. Ahmad was looking to get away on the right. Roberts placing the ball again. Ahmad.
My best mate's a season ticket holder. He said,
Has,
if we lose today, she's whipping it up.
Bell on his shoulder, the right corner of the penalty area. Roberts will take the free kick again. The referee just sidestepping his way across the middle. Scott Oldham. So Roberts then drives this into the box, headed away though by Drame. Comes back out to Neal and out wide to Roberts again. Short pass through.
Does
to
it matter
Neal and
financially
Ahmad.
whereabouts
Ahmad on the right
Sunderland finish in
touchline
the
is
league?
looking up, left-footed, crosses straight to the goalkeeper. Straight down Horvath's throat. Easy take. Luton leading 1-0, 25 minutes left. The kick up through the middle here, and then laid off on this right-hand side. And bringing it forwards now is Cody Drame. He plays it back to Gabriel Osho on the halfway line, then down the right. Drame, it's a poor ball through, and he'll run through to Anthony Patterson. Out in his D, passing it out now. A stretch for Neal, and the ball takes it to Bell, and then forwards down the left here to Morris, and he's looking for some support. Lays it back up behind him to Bell and out to Doughty, and then back again to Lockyer in the Luton half. He just puts his foot on the ball and then plays it forwards to Bell, back to Osho. Osho skips round Clark and takes this on, gets round Michoud, who's hurt, and then Gelhardt trying to get forwards here. Michou's still down, O'Nien's down. Now Nakamba's got it back. Nakamba out to the left-hand side. Michou's still on the floor, he's still sitting, he's now trying to get himself up. Morris on the left side of the Sunderland penalty area, pulls the ball back into the centre, and Bell trying to get away from Ahmad, but it's won back by Dan Neil. Neil has Roberts, or Ahmad, he's fouled surely by Bell. It's a free kick to Sunderland on the right of central midfield, and it's Wolves 1, Leeds 3.
And that's my worry really, Nick, is that when we
London
do win
clubs,
the ball,
I think, have an advantage.
you look forward and there's nothing there. I'm wary that.
That's why I think Luton will go. That's why I think Luton will go.
They find that second goal hard to come by, but I know exactly what you mean.
You can feel it.
Yeah. Here's Hume back to Ballard. Ballard bringing this out and playing it across to Luke O'Nien. Now he's seen the run of Clark. Clark down the left-hand side here. Osho getting back. Clark into
who knows? The owners might be quite happy with us staying in the Championship for another 5 years or so.
It bobbled awkwardly for him. He tried to bring it down onto his left, which he did, but then slightly off balance, drove it wide.
Tell you what, he's not doing himself much justice, this fella, is he?
It was an opportunity.
Well, again, do you put that down to confidence?
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, Ahmad was frustrated. He was wanting the ball to be played through to him.
Why? We fucking signed. We signed him.
To Luton.
We signed him.
Clark's break. It's interesting. Clark didn't want to have a go himself. Gets into the area in those positions. Goal kick. The players over.
The trouble is, Clark, he passes the ball too much. He should have took it on himself there,
down
Clark.
Almost to the touchline. It's headed on by Hume, but it's Campbell who wins it through Bell to Lockyer, and he's lifting it over the top for Adebayo, who's got it ahead of Ballard, and he's got it on the touchline. It's just stayed in.
Well, we must have seen something in him to get him.
Behind him is Morris, and Morris now getting it back here to Bell, and his foot on the ball at the moment. Sorry, Nakamba through to Adebayo. Adebayo blocked by Roberts. It's a throw.
Rather have Milton Nunes back than that Muppet.
Alfie Doughty's goal, the difference between the two teams. Sunderland 0, Luton Town 1.
You can understand why Sunderland fans are getting pissed off, absolutely.
We're halfway through the
good hard work,
second
earn money to watch these
Ballard
games.
Just puts his foot through it, back up into the centre circle. Osho being pursued by Gelhardt, but he passes it back to Horvath, who drives it up the other end again, and it's flicked away and out for a throw to Sunderland on the far side, deep in the Sunderland half. Hume.
There must be a reason why he's not playing Bennett and Gelhardt. He's maybe scored some superb goals in training. Gelhardt didn't know.
Hume will take the free kick, I think, or is it Roberts just comes back and whips it across the field to O'Nien, takes it on his chest, and then just plays it through to Mishu. It's whipped off him though by Morris, back to Osho.
Gelhardt has scored one goal though.
Morris again, Mishu trying to recover, a run round at the back, trying to get behind.
9 games, this one.
O'Nien is Jordan Clark, almost on the goal line. Clark pulls it back, finds Morris at the edge of the area, Morris at the edge and back out into midfield, and then laying it off here to Amari Bell, who's looking for Doughty on the left-hand side. Hume's gone with him, puts a foot in, Doughty keeps it in, plays it back to Bell, and Bell back to Lockyer, just inside his half. I think Sunderland are going to make a triple, if not a quadruple change in a moment, but Doughty could be through here. Finds Adebayo, no he doesn't, because Hume's got back into sliding and knocked the ball out into touch. I think it's Southampton 1, Spurs 2.
Gary Bennett's Siamat is up to 86% at the minute.
I think he's trying to have a word with, I think it's Lihaji, but
Gooch is coming on.
Gooch.
Bennett's going to come on.
Bennett.
Ekwa.
It's Ekwa, is it?
Pritchard is going to come on.
Pritchard, is it Ekwa rather than Lihaji? It's going to be a quadruple change though, as Luton trying to find a second here. Bell at the edge of the area, Ahmad trying to stab it away, Bell back again down the left to Doughty. First time ball in straight at Patterson, as the substitutes readying themselves to come on. As the Ball played out towards Gelhardt. Clark's trying to get it away from Michu. Now there's a bit of battle, and Gelhardt trying to get it away. He's pushed in the back. It's a free kick. And we're going to get the substitutions now.
The owners want Sunderland to stay in the Championship for a few more years yet, I think.
All four waiting to come on. Down we come now for the substitutions. The fourth official finally comes out with the board.
No.
Michu's already on his way off. Millwall 0, Huddersfield 1, which will be a bit of a turn up. So Hume coming off for Pritchard.
Oh man.
Gelhardt's coming off for Ekwa.
Michu must be going to come off, is he?
Yeah, well, he came off once, he's wandered back on again, but I think he's just waiting, isn't he? He's got sort of hands on his hips, knowing his number's going to come up here. Neil's coming off for Bennett. Michu might yet get a stay of execution. No, he doesn't, because Gooch is coming on to replace him.
Tonight.
So Man City on Burnley. Substitutions made by Tony Mowbray.
The boys are asking who's Manchester City playing today.
Pritchard inside of him. Bennett has gone up through the middle, up front. Clark's up there with him.
Manchester City are playing Burnley. Was that an FA Cup game tonight?
On the left-hand side, Gooch looking to try and make a run over Pritchard's head. Osho
looking at the wrong day, son.
Heads it away. Bart takes it on his chest. It's spun off him, and it's been picked up here by Doughty, who's making a run through and finds Adebayo, who's trying to square this. Ballard cuts it out on the 6-yard line. Out it comes to Gooch in front of Adebayo, and he's played it up now through the middle to Ahmad. Ahmad, he's got a run possibly from Pritchard and Clark. Clark here now taking this on into the penalty area. He's got Osho on his shoulder, the flag's up for offside. And it's the ball's just been put in the empty net. That's a free kick to Luton.
He was a good yard offside there.
And now Luton will just slow. They've got a player down. That's a surprise. I think is it Doughty who's down?
Yeah.
The referee's leant over him. Remarkable, isn't it? How many times do we see this when a team goes in front and with 15-20 minutes to go they start having injuries, start sitting down, start having cramp? It's Gateshead 1, Torquay 1, and Luton are about to make a change. They're going to bring on Onyedinma as Wolves 2 leads 3. So there's a huddle of Luton players. Onyedinma's going to come on. I think he will be replacing Doughty. We've got 16 minutes left. So, yeah, off goes Doughty.
So the fans are starting to leave the stadium late, and there's 17 minutes to go plus stoppages.
Goal scorer replaced, Harrogate 1, Barrow 0. Fred Onyedinma, who can play for either Nigeria or England. He was born in Lagos, but raised in London. And at the moment, Horvath placing the ball down for a free kick for the offside. And the substitution made. And Onyedinma has gone across on the far side where Doughty was playing. The kick from Horvath up through the centre, and Ballard just wrestles Adebayo to the floor. Onyedinma gets his first touch, and his first touch is actually to hold off Ahmad and let the ball roll out for a throw.
On the live score website, they've got Sunderland 0, Luton 1. They're using the Stoke City badge for Sunderland and the Norwich City badge for Luton.
You're just thinking, can you see a way back in?
Someone's going to get sacked in the admin. And the live score,
they've got
the game's been too badges are all over the place. They've got Stoke City's Rotherham,
that there might be something.
They've got Norwich City's got Cardiff, Sunderland's got Stoke City, Luton Town's got the Norwich badge.
O'Nien trying to clear it. Comes back for Adebayo, who's wrestling with Gooch. And a free kick to Sunderland. And Adebayo's furious.
Well, live score, just got the internet live score, and then get the scores up.
Blackpool 1, Coventry 4. Free kick quickly taken, and it's going to be Ahmad from Pritchard, but then Ahmad's fouled just inside the Luton half on this left-hand side. Pritchard throws the ball down.
We will never get back into the Premier League.
Whip this away over to the far side.
With this current squad, we would not.
Roberts. And Roberts
we
now
would
inside to
We would
Bennett,
not get back into the Premier League with this squad.
Down to
Sunders.
Bennett on the right wing. He's pushed it down the right, away from Bell. Now trying to get in on that goal line and straight to the goalkeeper at the post. A little bit of that explosive pace from Jefferson Bennett. But he couldn't pull it back far enough.
No.
So still 1-0 to Luton. The referee having a word with Tom Lockyer. Pritchard strolling back. Now the referee again, he's talking to Tom Lockyer. I'm not quite sure what the issue is here. He's running across to the fourth official, the referee, who's brandishing some notes. Quick word.
What's the referee doing here?
Scott Oldham is jogging back to the goalkeeper.
Owners are happy in the Championship with 40,000 plus in attendance.
Back behind him.
Has he thrown something or what?
I don't know. It's going to be a drop ball.
I've got to think the owners aren't supporters of the club. They don't feel like what we are, the businessmen, at the end of the day.
The ball is dropped at his feet. He picks it up in front of Jack Clark.
He could be quite happy just being in the Championship.
Fourth official's making a few notes down below. And Horvath kicks up over the halfway line, and it bounces through here, and it bounces down.
They need to pack that in because there was a few missiles getting thrown on the pitch against Stoke as well. They don't want to be starting that carry on.
Danny Bart to O'Nien again, and then over to the right to Dan Ballard, nodding it on. He's got Roberts on the wing. Ballard still going, leaves it though for Ahmad, and he weaves back.
Forest will go. They look terrible against Newcastle.
Then it's played on again. In fact, I think it was Bennett, and then it's played actually onto the head of Dramé to clear. Comes back to O'Nien, forwards to Clark. Rotherham's game's been suspended because of weather conditions against Cardiff.
Is it that bad?
Who knows? Ahmad on the far side. It's bizarre, isn't it? Back to Bart in the centre circle, and then looking for the run of Gooch. Oh, it's headed over him by Dramé, out for a throw. Less than 12 minutes to play, plus added time, of course. Sunderland trailing 1-0, would you believe it? Gooch with the throw. Finds Pritchard, back to Gooch. Gooch cutting inside now and rolling it into the middle to Roberts. He'll try a shot, but he was just put off balance.
Corner.
But he's won a corner. Just as he released it off the toe of the defender. Short corner. Comes back here to Bennett on the corner of the box. Headed away by Morris, his cross. Up to Ekwa. Ekwa now laying it off down to Bennett on the right-hand side here. Bennett head down, trying to get it on his left. And he tries a shot, drags it though, straight at the goalkeeper.
Daisy cutter.
Yeah. Southampton 1, Spurs 3.
Weak as piss, that man.
Ethan Horvath coming out towards the edge of his area. He'll take the kick.
He's done more in the 3 minutes he's been on than Gillard's done in 6 games.
Throws the ball down. Bennett closes down, not much, and the kick down that left-hand side drops over.
He's running at the goal. He's taking shots on.
Sunderland again. He felt he was foul, but nothing from Scott Oldham. Ekwa from Ballard. Back to Bart on the right side of the penalty area. Bart's clearance up towards the halfway line. Bell puts it back through straight to O'Nien, who gets it out here on the left-hand side to Lyndon Gooch. Gooch over the halfway line now. Gooch cutting inside. Dramé on his shoulder. Gooch trying to shake him off. Through to past Pritchard. And Lockyer is going to try and get this clear. Gooch leaps over the ball. Pritchard stabs a foot in. And it's out for a throw to Sunderland.
Please empty my cum box. I don't think so. Message deleted. What the hell?
Clark has the ball at the moment now. There's a booking for a substitute. The referee has to look at the number on his shorts because he's wearing a pink bib. But one of the Luton substitutes has just been booked for basically interfering with play. And so the ignominy of that, you're not even on the pitch and you get a yellow card. And now a foul on Clark, and there's going to be another card here. There's Campbell. Was it Campbell who was booked there?
Yeah. Oh, 50 people on the chat, please hit that thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you're new. Thank you.
Aston Villa 2, Bournemouth 0. Free kick then, which Pritchard will take on the left. There could be another change for Luton. They're going to bring on Corley Woodrow as a forward. The ball is cleared from the free kick out to Ekwa. Back out wide to Pritchard on the left-hand side. His cross in. Ballard goes down in the penalty area. There's no appeal from him. And now trying to win it's Ahmad. But it's broken and it's foul. Free kick, right side of.
We lose every fifth.
So in the middle, on the right.
How are the lads? Would you will
Woodrow getting some instructions before he comes on. Into the final 10 minutes. We're live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Luton are leading 1-0. Ahmad. It's a ball flicked through now. 37,579 the attendance this afternoon. The substitution being made now. Number 10's going off and number 10's coming on.
Look at that, man. Look at that daft cunt throwing the ball there for the goal kick. Did you see that?
2, Spurs 3. So
guarantee now these remaining 8 minutes left.
83rd minute. Adebayo sort of saunters
out of the 9 minutes left.
Luton
are going to waste at least 7 of these.
Former Barnsley forward. You may remember him at Oakwell.
Barnsley, yeah.
Everyone closely together in the centre, starting to move across towards the east stand for this goal kick from Ethan Horvath. 1-0 to Luton, going into the final stages. The kick then hangs in the air from the American. It's headed in the air by.
It's no good if he's fucking injured all the time, is it?
Or by Bell. It comes down for Luke O'Nien. O'Nien up to the halfway line on the left of the centre circle.
I think the Sunderland fans will turn around. I don't be as disappointed as much
shake off Clark, leaves it for Jack Clark,
twice in the season.
Jack Clark with Jordan Clark on his shoulder plays it across to Ahmad. Ahmad out wide again to Roberts. Roberts looking, well, he's got Bennett down the line, but he's come back inside to Ekwa. And Ekwa now closed down by marvellous Nakamba. And Ballard playing it through down the right of the penalty area here. And Roberts trying to find a way in past Campbell. And at the moment, he's having trouble to do that.
That message you've just read out, called.
Plays it back to Ballard. And now to Ekwa. Ekwa looking through the corner of the penalty on Ahmad. A little flick through to Pritchard. Back into Ahmad. He goes down. The referee's having none of it. He looked as though there was a hand on his shoulder. And
penalty.
He's given the penalty. He's had a think about it.
Yeah.
And Scott Oldham's now decided to give the penalty.
It must have been a linesman.
So the penalty given in the 85th minute.
Never celebrate a penalty. Celebrate when you've scored it.
A chance to draw level here for Sunderland. I suspect.
Rosie's well ahead.
Who will it be, Roberts or Ahmad, to take the penalty? He's taken one already this season and scored, Ahmad. So I suspect.
I reckon Gelhardt should come off the bench.
Ahmad places the ball on the spot. Sunderland a chance to equalise here with 5 minutes remaining.
Pulling us down all hour.
He did appear to be pulled down. The goalkeeper's come right out of his penalty area, the 6-yard box. He's out on the right of the 6-yard box. The referee's indicated he wants him back on the line. So Horvath, this is a technique presumably by the keeper to try and put Ahmad off. Slowly walks back on his goal line now, swinging his arms. Ahmad to take the penalty kick. He's standing on the 18-yard line at the moment, Ahmad. So Ahmad, for his 9th goal of the season, his 2nd penalty of the season, he's poised at the moment.
Well done,
waiting to run up for this, and the keeper trying to make himself big. Ahmad to equalise. Takes a run to the right. Now comes forwards with his left and drives it home. It's 1-1, and Ahmad scores from the penalty spot.
Get in!
There's time still to go on and win it.
Now go on and win it, lads. Come on.
Driven firmly into the top left corner.
And again, you've got to forget that it was a great pass by Ekwa.
Ahmad's geeing up the crowd now. He's geeing up the crowd. Get in. Hey, Jennifer, you were right. You were right.
Sunderland 1, Luton Town 1. As the ball played back from the kickoff to the goalkeeper. Big kick upfield, headed on. It'll be
fired up, man. Ahmad there, like.
Get through as a bell
Yes, thank you, Rosie, for the good news.
And now, will it swing one way or the other?
He's getting flowers thrown onto the pitch.
Stick or twist at 1-1. Away comes Sunderland again on the right-hand side. Roberts is beaten to it. To throw to Sunderland on the far side. Ballard is going to take this.
So, Jennifer, can we get a winner? Can we get a winner in the last 5 minutes or so?
To Ekwa. Ekwa, he's got pressure on him from Woodrow. Now, a pull on the back of Ballard's shirt by Bell. The referee's played the advantage. And now Roberts away
Rosie
down the right-hand side. Still going, trying to slip the ball inside to Bennett. And it came off Campbell, back to Lockyer to clear. And Ekwa picks it up, keeps it in on the far side. Plays it across here now to Luke O'Nien. O'Nien bringing this up over the halfway line. Through to Clark. Jack Clark now trying to find Ballard on the far side. Ballard to Ahmad. Ahmad to Roberts. Roberts on the far side. Back to Ahmad. And Ahmad now inside to Ekwa. Ekwa.
Penalty was the only way we're going to score today, says Doug.
Pritchard trying to get into the edge of the area here on the left. He's
What's
got
that?
in
Yeah,
the box,
I did actually say that a while back.
Plays it off Osho, and it'll be a throw to Sunderland on the left-hand side, which Gooch takes to Pritchard.
Well, I'll take it.
Pritchard brings it down in front of Osho, and then Osho stabs it out again.
It's been a game changer.
He's
since he's come on. He's actually playing like the striker.
Off Drame, trying to shake him off, then takes it inside, lovely bit of footwork, and then a ball in the box. Gooch still going, and now he plays it out to Pritchard, who drags it back into the box, but no, and it's cleared. And now Luton trying to get it out, but Ekwa wins it. Gets it back down the left to Gooch. Gooch on the touchline, looks up, right foot cross, in comes Ahmad.
The only thing is, though, you know Sunderland haven't done anything on the attack because Luton, what you call, he's not said we've scored.
Pritchard is stressing to Gooch that he wanted
Rosie,
to
yeah,
run
so like
behind so he could
when
play
Sunderland are going forward.
So 1-1, less than 2 minutes left. Suddenly this game has come alive in the last 10 minutes. I mean, certainly has
we'll
been
take
a
a draw, says Doug. We'll have that, says Andrew.
It couldn't get any worse. But again, with them substitution, all of a sudden we injected a little bit of life.
Yeah, it did.
People are willing to run.
Can you not put Rosie on pause for a bit?
Right again, Bennett in front of him, but away comes Bell and runs into Ekwa, who clears into touch.
Bless her, because you know when we've gone forward, you know that nothing's happened because she hasn't piped up.
He's leaving it for Amari Bell. Sunderland 1, Luton Town 1, live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Throw down the line from Bell, headed away by Ballard, wins a free kick. It says Woodrow or Morris was pulling him. Luke O'Nien now trying to get away here, through to Clark. Now Pritchard, Clark's continuing a run through the middle. Out to the left is Gooch. Pritchard cutting back inside. Pritchard just flicks it to Jack Clark. Comes back out to Ekwa, trying to pass it through. It's blocked. It's finally played to Ahmad, then out to Roberts on the right wing. Roberts dribbling it on Ndimma. Plays across through the 6-yard box. Drops eventually for Gooch and then out behind for a corner.
5 minutes. Injury time. 5 minutes.
Different sides since Benetti and Gooch has come on, like.
Corner on the left for Sunderland. 1-1 here at the Stadium of Light.
25 minutes added time.
Gooch
come on.
Clark plays the ball back here to Gooch at the edge of the area. Pritchard in the penalty box, down the left of the 6-yard box. Back out to Jack Clark on the left. Clark trying to get in, but he's blocked and it's won back by Luton. Dramé plays it away, only as far as Ekwa. Ekwa now plays it across to Ahmad.
We're a different side since Gooch and Benetti's come on, like.
Roberts back to Ahmad. And Ahmad, again, just holding it and playing it inside to Ekwa. And, well, whistle's blown here. Free kick to Sunderland. Yellow card for Morris, I think that is. Yeah. So free kick wide on that right-hand side. And Roberts is going to take it. 4 minutes just under left. 1-1. Sunderland maintaining their record of scoring in every game over the last however many it is. And Roberts with the free kick. Floats up to the edge of the area. Headed down and away by Dramé, only as far as Jack Clark. Now Gooch down the left of the penalty area. He's taken this on, gone round Morris. Dinks a ball across, it's dropped by the goalkeeper and taken at the second attempt. The goalkeeper at full stretch.
That keeper done amazing there, like.
And he managed to get his
full stretch,
to it,
full stretch, and
nobody could follow through.
The whole attitude of James Nick, and you look at Luton now; they'll settle for a point.
Yeah. Sunderland certainly have been going for the win. As the ball kicked up by Horvath, it's looking to try and get it to Morris. Ekwa nods it back down to Bart, up to the halfway line. Dramé heads it powerfully forward, so Nyan flicking it to Gooch. Gooch forwards down the line to Jack. Oh, a lovely dummy play by him to try and shake off Osho. Osho trying to get back. Jack Clark rolling it inside, but it's blocked just at the edge of the penalty area. Back to November the 5th, I think it is, I'm told. That was the last time.
Come on, Rosie, chirple, good news.
So 1-1 it is. Thank you,
Sunderland are currently in 11th place, says Doug.
Nugget of information. Here's Gooch's cross to the far post, headed away by Bell to Campbell, only as far as Ekwa, trying to slip it back inside and across to now Ahmad on his right. He's just bounced off him though. It allows
we've murdered these
Luton
the last 10
to
minutes.
Try and
like.
break again here, up towards the halfway line.
Ahmad's
to
touch was
Morris,
like a friggin' elephant
back
in
inside,
there.
and the nod down from Bell. It's a free kick though for a foul on Morris. And we're now we've got a minute and a half have we to play of the 5. The ball flicked back up to the halfway
You say
line.
Gelhardt's the worst lone player we've had?
Of, marvellous Nakamba. He's going to lead the free kick for Cody Dramé. That's the
subs have made a difference, Jennifer. Absolutely. Hook, line and sinker they have. Like I say,
defenders.
we've all been saying I
Up,
don't know why they've not been brought on earlier,
area.
or even starting with Bennett.
Down, Lockyer trying to battle with it, but it's come out on that left-hand side, and Sunderland going to get it away now to Ahmad. Ahmad's on the break. Ahmad's got Bennett ahead of him. He's rolled it down the right to Bennett. Bennett being forced over that far side by Osho, but Bennett then taps it back behind into Roberts. Roberts trying to cut back inside again here now. Roberts still dribbling through, surrounded by Luton shirts. Plays it back to Ekwa. Ekwa now to O'Nien.
Will Gelhardt start again? I wouldn't be surprised if he does, to be honest with you.
Gooch down the left of the penalty area, trying to come in round Dramé. He's trying his hardest and plays it back to Pritchard. Pritchard curls the ball into the box, which is cleared, and it'll come out for a throw on this left-hand side with 30 seconds of the 5 left. O'Nien's going to take the throw, drops to Ekwa. Ekwa now down the line to Pritchard. Pritchard down the line again to Gooch. Gooch looks up, swings in across.
Luton are hanging on for the lives, aren't they? We're well on top of it.
He can't get any power behind it, and out it comes into midfield, and then out by Lockyer, and that is a free kick.
That
is the 5 minutes. Yeah, that is the 5 minutes.
They've all come back to sit down.
That's it, full time, 1-1.
And One suspects this
I'm happy with
might
that.
be
I'm happy with
It
that.
will be the last kick. It will be the last
kick of the
kick.
game. Sunderland won, Luton Town won. Well, it's been a rousing last half hour.
Well, again, we talked earlier in the first half, Nick, about changing the shape. All of a sudden, changed the shape the last 25 minutes when they made them substitution, gone with 3 at the back, and then I think we just look more threatening.
The goalkeeper takes the free kick, the whistle blown. Indeed, that was the last kick of the game. It has indeed ended 1-1. We've broken the chain of 1-0s for
Tony Mowbray shakes hands with Michael Carrick there.
Sunderland have scored again, and can look back on that as a very creditable point, but the Luton players surrounding the referee at the moment, the officials, and in the middle of them is Luke O'Brien.
Stop whinging, Luton Town players.
But again, credit to Sunderland, good character, and credit to Tony Mowbray as well. To try to get back into the game, making them substitution, changing the shape, and I think going forward, I thought we looked a lot more.
You're welcome, Doug. Thank you.
A little bit more tempo to the game, a little bit more creativity. Okay, yes, you might look at them thinking, they've got nothing to lose. Are they impact players coming on? But overall, I think, the first half, I think it was a little bit, shall we say, fatigued, tired.
I didn't think Luton were all that good, to be honest with you.
Whatever you want to go think about it, it wasn't a game where you're thinking, right, we're going to go and create opportunities and cause problems. But I've got to say, the last 20-25 minutes of the game, I thought we were a lot better.
They were. There's without question the goal, I think, for Luton, Alfie Doughty's goal in the 52nd minute was the spark. We said it needed something to give the game a lift. It did. The crowd got behind Sunderland then, the changes were made, and they were effective. They were made in the 72nd minute, so they were made with a good 15 minutes or so to play, plus you'd take the 5 minutes added on. It was a good 20 minutes. It did change the flow, and it was Sunderland who were going for the win at the end.
Yeah, I'll do that.
But again, we mentioned, didn't we, do we need to go a goal down to inject some life into us? Because all of a sudden we've got nothing to lose, we change the shape, we bring on players, and then all of a sudden Ahmed shows a little bit of pace, tempo, Bennett shows a lot of pace, Aqua, I thought, come on, and he was excellent in there as well, and Gooch up and down on his left hand side, and I just thought, they played with a little bit more freedom.
37,579 was the attendance this afternoon. It has finished here at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland 1, Luton Town 1.
Well, I've got some socials here.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
So that then is how
Here we go, the socials saying, and somebody's joking, I think, saying terrible yet again. What gas are you sniffing? Said reply to that. And stay in Championship build for next season. Looked so much better when we went to 3 at the back. I'll take a point any day against a really good Luton side who were at the top half of the table for no reason. After the midweek debacle, I'll take that. Subs made a big difference. Settle for that. If Gelhardt starts next week, I'll eat my used socks. There we go then. Yeah, I think it was a good performance from Sunderland, whether it's a penalty or not. Don't forget we gifted them a goal with Pato's rare error, but I think it was a hard-earned point, and we're just shared it as the better team against a really decent Luton Town side, so I can't really argue with that. You're welcome, Andrew. Cheers, mate. Cheers, guys.